offense met its match in an attacking R.C. Slocum defense. Heisman Trophy winner Andre Ware was harassed all day by the Aggie linebackers, forcing 3 interceptions and sacking him a total of 6 times. Late in the fourth quarter, with the Aggies up by 4, the Aggie defense rose to the occasion one last time. Aaron Wallace sacked Ware on 4th down, preserving the win. A&M's 5th straight over Houston. Today, the Aggies and Cougars tee it up again on HSE. Today's Southwest Conference football game is being brought to you by Bud Ball. And today, the 12th-ranked Houston Cougars host the 20th-ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Worrell, along with former Alice on New Year's Day for the Cotton Bowl. They need a win here today, so it'll be a big one, Ray. The run and shoot against the run of A&M. 2 different philosophies here.
Yeah, R.C. Slocum wants to run the football. He's made that very plain. I would not fault that with the 2 backs he's got back there, Wilson and Lewis. As you can see here, the total offense 480 yards, and of that 312 a game rushing. 5th in the nation. Houston 509 a game, 430 of it passing. So 2 different philosophies. Both worked well.
Ray, you coached with John Jenkins on Jack Pardee's staff with the Houston Gamblers, so I know you have some ideas on how to stop the run and shoot. R.C. Slocum, on the other hand, has gone with the blitz, and he has stopped the Cougars now 3 years in a row.
Bill, yeah.
James Gray, number 3 on the all-time list, and a big run he had last year hurt the Cougars badly.
Yeah, this is his run last year against the Cougars. He's a big, strong back, and I tell you, you've got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line and Robert Wilson. They're doing a great job moving the football.
And on the other side of the football is the slinger, David Klingler, who is on the record pace Andre Ware set last year when he won the Heisman Trophy. Look at that, 4 games in a row of over 400 yards.
That's a great feat for a young man that I think a lot of people, including myself, had some doubts about. So that's a great credit to he and both John Jenkins and their offensive staff.
When you look at the offensive numbers, Ray, do you expect a high-scoring game? It hasn't been that way lately.
You would expect that, but as we were talking about, it'll probably end up 10-3, something like that. I think the key, Bill, to me is can Houston's defense stop Texas A&M's offense? The key to the run and shoot is get the ball back. Time of possession doesn't really make a whole lot of difference except as far as whether A&M can keep the football away from Houston's offense.
Well, it's entering the field to start the game, maybe coming out of the clouds with that high-powered run and shoot. R.C. Slocum, he's fired up and ready to go. So are the Aggies today. The Aggies have won 5 games in a row over Houston in this series. Welcome, everybody, to the Astrodome as we check our officials for today's game. Lloyd Dale will be the referee. The umpire, Joe Darden, James Wilson, Mike Liner, John Bible, Mike Wetzel, and Larry Weeks, the back judge. John Jenkins, his first year as head coach at the University of Houston. He has a perfect 4-0 record. Jenkins was the offensive coordinator for Jack Pardee for 3 years. And in that time span, Houston has set about 200 NCAA, Southwest Conference, and school offensive records. Here we go. Roman Anderson will kick it off. And back deep is Shane Garrett. He boots it at the 5, picks it up, and he's swarmed under at the 7-yard line. The tackle made by Chris Pesman for Houston. And Bucky Richardson will be the starting quarterback. That has been a secret all week, but Richardson came in early in the Texas Tech game last week and had a hand in 4 A&M touchdowns. He sparked the Aggies in the Cotton Bowl his freshman year to a win. They're hoping he can spark this offense now. The offense has been sputtering. In the backfield, Lewis and Wilson. So the Aggies deep in their own territory. Hand off to Lewis. And he's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Ball carrier, number 25. Robert Wilson. He's the bull. Darren Lewis is the tank. Garrett and Oliver are the big play wide receivers for Texas A&M. And this is a big and veteran team. Matt McCall in his 31st straight start. Mike Arthur in his 30th straight start for the Aggies on that offensive line. Second down, about 9 to go. Richardson passes out to Garrett. Across the 10, he's got running room. Across the 20, first down, A&M. Jerry Jerry Parks made the tackle for the Houston Cougars, but Ray Auburn, a bit of a surprise move early by the Aggies.
Right. We talked about Bucky Richardson and them running the football and come out on the second play and go 3 wide receivers and throw a screen to Garrett. An excellent execution. A good block out there by Oliver.
Garrett has caught 11 passes now this season. He's averaging 24 yards a catch. I formation for Richardson. Option play down the line to the left. He breaks through the 30, 35, 40. He's at midfield. Could go. He's going to go all the way. Bucky Richardson. 10, 5. Touchdown A&M. But wait a minute. They may call it back. I think he stepped out of bounds at midfield. Let's wait and see. All right, let's watch it again, Ray. I think he steps out right here. There it is.
Right on the 49, right at the 50. That's great execution of the option, though, by Richardson there.
Still a gain of 28 yards on the play. A&M leads the series 14-11, but has won 5 straight in this rivalry. Houston has a 5-2 record in the Dome, but A&M has won the last 2 times in here. This is almost neutral turf for the Aggies. They bring about as many fans as Houston does. First down and 10 A&M, just inside U of H territory. Wilson with a handoff, left tackle. Big blocks by Jason Rockhold and Mike Pappas. The defense for Houston, Trey Hooper will be lining up across from Arthur. There should be a big battle there. Cadrez was a linebacker when he came to Houston. He's been shifted to defensive end. Mateka is a pure freshman. The linebackers, Eric Blunt leads the team in tackles. Ryan McCoy is a pure freshman, and Reggie Burnett is an excellent athlete and maybe the best player on defense. Jerry Parks, keep an eye on the free safety. He's number 2 in tackles for the Cougars. Second down, needing 8. Richardson, option. Darren Lewis.
What a block by Wilson.
Inside the 40. Look out. Lewis is going to score. 15, 5. Touchdown, A&M.
What a block by Wilson, Bill.
47-yard run by Darren Lewis. And the Aggies strike pay dirt in a hurry. All right, Ray, here's that block you were talking about.
Watching, he pancakes the Houston defender. It's a good job by Pappas, the guard. A nice cut by Darren Lewis.
That was Kenny Perry, number 8, and he was bulldozed by the Bull. Extra point by Lane Talbot is good. And the Aggies, boy, lightning strikes early at the Astrodome, and the Aggies are up 7-0 on HSE. Robert Wilson, the Bull, he earned his nickname here.
You're not kidding. I tell you, that was great execution by Bucky Richardson, too, Bill. He came down the line and forced the end man to take him in Delta football to Lewis. And that's the way you run the option. If you get too far off the line of scrimmage, you can play both people.
Ray, I see big problems for the Houston defense. They didn't close down on the inside at all.
No, and when you get that situation and you get that kind of block out of Wilson, it really doesn't make a lot of difference. That's just a great execution of the option by all 3 of the players.
So Lane Talbot will be kicking off. There's Darren Lewis, and he is off to a quick start. 2 years ago in the Dome, he had 200 yards rushing against Houston. Talbot kicks it down the middle. Perry trying to pick it up, and he'll run out of bounds. That's Cody Smith, and he runs out of bounds just inside the U of H 20-yard line. Well, you can tell the obvious shock in that Cougar supporter's face.
Yeah, I think everyone
into the game.
Yeah, I think everyone's shocked by it now.
Klingler last week used 12 different receivers in the win over Baylor, and he, of course, is on a record pace. Only Jim McMahon and Andre Ware have thrown for over 400 yards a game 6 times in a row. Klingler going for number 5 here today. But the Cougars, who usually strike first, are now the victim of a quick strike by the Aggies. And let's see now how this offense reacts. Check out the defense by the Aggies now. Yeah, last year they used only 1 down lineman. I see 3. Blitz.
There's blitz.
Immediately. Marcus Buckley came in. Klingler running for his life. Throwing it out of bounds. The Aggies have given the Cougars absolute fits the last couple of seasons. The best receivers, I think, as a group, Chuck Weatherspoon with over 1,000 yards rushing the last 2 seasons in a passing offense. He is a bear. Hazard, the All-American candidate, Berlin Brown, the big play receiver. And this is a big line for Houston, led by the veteran Leroy Truitt and Mike Giesler, a 2-year starter. Second down for the Cougars. They very rarely huddle. Look at the first quarter scoring for Houston. But so are the Aggies. Blitz, Thomas. And it's incomplete.
Well, you've got to get somebody off backside, and they weren't able to do it. He got back, but he wasn't able to block Thomas, and as a result, had a bad play.
The defensive line, Jason Black, Miller, and Jones, but right now only Jones in there defensively as they're using a dime situation. We'll talk more about that. William Thomas, the man on the sack. He has 7 sacks now on the season to lead the Aggies. And this is a great defensive backfield. They can play a lot of man-on-man and allow the Aggies to blitz. Larry Horton, the big play man. Kevin Smith with 15 career interceptions, and that's the best all-time in Aggie history. He just went by Lester Hayes last week. All right, third down, handoff, Weatherspoon, big running room, but he doesn't have the first. He's tackled at the 25-yard line. Corey Ott on the tackle along with Chris Crooms for the Aggies, and the Cougars have to punt. Listen to the A&M rooting section and look at R.C. Slocum.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad call by Houston to run the draw right there. That may slow the rush down just a little bit. Pretty good execution.
R.C. says you have to force the quarterback to make the quick decision. And so far, the last couple of seasons, he has certainly done that. Shane Garrett is back deep inside his own 40-yard line for the Aggies. Charles Langston kicking for Houston. He doesn't kick it far, but he doesn't have many returned. And Garrett will let this one go. It gets a Cougar roll, and it's going to be killed right at the 22-yard line. So an excellent punt by Langston of 52 yards. Well, Ray, we see R.C. Slocum has assistant. His second year as a head coach. And also, look at what the Aggies do in the first period. So here's a real key to the game. The Aggies have jumped on their opponents early, and so have the Cougars. And right now, the Aggies have scored the first 7 points of the game. I don't think I've ever seen. R.C.'s a pretty laid-back guy. This is about as pumped up as I've ever seen him.
Yeah, down at LSU in that environment, he didn't get that excited. But there's a lot riding on this one.
Watch him as the Aggies hold here on third down. My goodness gracious.
Houston better be glad he's not playing.
R.C., of course, was coached. Let's listen.
Concentration the whole time. Play every play.
He's exactly right against a run and shoot, because you take something for granted against that scheme and you give up the big play.
There are a lot of familiarity on both sides of the coaching staff. R.C. Slocum was coached by Ben Hurt, the defensive line coach of Houston, when he was playing in Beaumont. Robert Ford, who coaches the defensive wide receivers for A&M, was a wide receiver at Houston. There's a whistle on the play, so we'll call it back.
And then he coached with us at the Gamblers with John, coached the receivers when Jink was the offensive coordinator.
So you really aren't going to fool anybody on these two staffs. They know what the two can do. Let's listen to Lloyd Dale. False start, A&M. Watch the left side of the line. There he is. Looks like Jason Rockhold may have been moving.
This is exactly what we talked about in the A&M LSU game. They don't want to get into long yardage situations, so they can't afford to make those kind of mistakes.
First and 15 for the Aggies. They have not had good field position, but they have gained a lot of yardage. Garrett just almost to the 30-yard line. Quick hitter. Zach Chapman in on the tackle along with Kenny Perry. They're sure giving him a lot of cushion.
Yeah, they're giving him a lot of cushion, and they're just raising up. He's turning around and popping him the football.
Garrett is a senior out of Crowley, Louisiana, and can make the big play. Second down, the Aggies need about 4, so they'll give it off to Darren Lewis. He's got it, and then some. The tank plows his way just inside the 40. Carlos Leon in on the tackle for Houston.
That's really good ball carrying here. Watch him get down over his pads and protect the football and lower his shoulder when he gets into traffic. Ooh.
Jerry Parks right there, and he got some help from Leon. Boy, did you see the block Mike Arthur put on Trey Hooper?
I'm going to tell you, I'm impressed with that young man.
Again, this time the Cougars, for the second time in the game, gang tackle. There was more than one or two around the football. Reggie Burnett, first one there, along with Ryan McCoy.
I believe that's a face mask, Bill. No, personal foul.
Personal foul on Houston. Well, didn't see anything there.
No.
But apparently the officials did.
Sometimes you never see some of the things they see.
Well, they're right down there with the action, no doubt about it. But the Aggies' field position has not bothered A&M. Their last drive started inside the 20-yard line. This one just about the same place, but the Aggies are just churning up the yardage. First down and 10. Handoff again. Darren Lewis gains a couple. Hard going inside. Glenn Cadrez was the first one there for Houston.
Bill, they took Wilson and moved him up in the slot and then ran the play just as if he was in the eye. It doesn't really change anything. No huddle now. No
Swinging
huddle.
gate.
Swinging gate again.
Going to flip it out to Garrett. He's got blockers. Garrett inside the 30. He's at the 20-yard line. The swinging gate. Carlos Leon saved the touchdown. R.C. Slocum with another bag of tricks. A 25-yard run off the old swinging gate.
We saw it in the LSU game. This is good execution.
Look at the blocking by the Aggies. The Cougars just sat there defensively, never reacted to it. And all Garrett had to do was get outside and run. And he did that. And now the ball is inside the Houston 20-yard line. First and 10 A&M. You have to be impressed by the way the Aggies have come out and taken it to Houston early. First man through, Wilson, and he bulls his way to about the 15. Reggie Burnett on the tackle for Houston, along with Eric Blunt.
That's a good, safe football play, and you can make 4 or 5 yards handing it off to that big guy.
Wilson doesn't get as much copy as Lewis, and of course Lewis is probably going to catch Eric Dickerson this year and be the all-time Southwest Conference leading rusher. But if it were not for Wilson's blocks, I don't know if Lewis could get there. He is a load.
Got blitz coming this time, Bill. We're going blitz, all-out blitz.
Well, Bucky sees it, and he's audibling at the line of scrimmage. Let's see what he calls. He's going to go to the end zone. Looking up deep. Good coverage by Houston. The pass intended for Gary Oliver, but Carlos Leon had him all the way.
That's great. That was great pass defense. Good job of Bucky of reading blitz. But that's a good job of coverage. You can't really see, but he was inside of him. The ball was thrown inside, and as his hands went up, the defender's hands went up.
Now, John Jenkins better be worried a little bit more defensively than offensively, because his defense is giving up yards in big chunks. Lewis in motion. Bucky Richardson.
Tight end.
Blitz.
Tight end. Touchdown.
Tight end. It was a touchdown. He dropped the ball. Dennis Ransom was all alone in the end zone and dropped the football.
Bill, they put Lewis up in the slot, motion him to the right or to the bottom of your screen, and three receiver look, and they sprint this way with Wilson blocking. This is a good throw.
Cadrez was just an eyelash away from making the hit, and that was a beautiful pass by Richardson. And now Lane Talbot, who has made 2 out of 5 attempts this year, will attempt a field goal from the 23-yard line. Tack on 10, a 33-yard attempt. It's up, and it's good. So the Aggies have had the football twice. They've scored both times. And with 9:18 left to play in the first period, A&M leads Houston 10-0. Sideline. He knows how big this is for the Aggies, because if you get by Houston, you've got the inside track to the Cotton Bowl. He had a big win over Texas Tech. Back deep, that's Tracy Good in the middle for Houston. Cody Smith on the far side of your screen. And on the near side is Tiandre Sanders for Houston.
Bill, now is, of course, not the time to panic for Houston. There's plenty of time. That's one of the advantages of the run and shoot. You can score quickly, and RC and his defensive coaches are very aware of that. They've just got to establish something in their next possession.
Well, the 12th man had a kickoff return by Texas Tech last week. They're not using the 12th man squad. They only do at home games. We'll talk more about that in a little while, but RC said something last week about maybe not using them, and he got a lot of heated response from the A&M alums. It's going to be a short kick. Good. Drops it at the 20. It's got a little pocket across the 30 to about the 34. So Houston with good field position. Tackle made by Billy Mitchell. And there's the scoring drive, and it hasn't taken the Aggies very long. In fact, it almost looks like a Houston drive.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a beautiful crowd on hand. It'll be just about 50,000, the largest regular season crowd in the Dome. Back in 1979, when Houston played Texas, there were over 55,000 here for that one. The Aggies in Houston drew 52,000 in 1978. They'll be approaching that figure here today. Weatherspoon for about 3.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Houston run the ball at them more this drive of this series to establish that running game a little bit and slow the rush down.
Anthony Williams, number 48. Keep an eye on Williams when they run. He leads the Aggies in tackles with 56. William Thomas was also on that last one. Klingler, quick pass, and it bounced in. Well, obviously Klingler is going to be a little ruffled because this is the first real pressure he has felt all season.
And Bill, last week in the Baylor game, I thought he looked a little frustrated in the first half with some drop passes and some missed reads. So he's got to maintain his composure because the football team looks to him.
The play clock is down to 18. Still plenty of time. The Cougars will run that play clock down almost to 0 every time as you look at third down conversions this year. Blitz. Inside screen, and I'll tell you what, had he been able to catch it, he could have run for big yardage, but he didn't.
That's a big play in the run and shoot, the screen, when you're getting that kind of heat. And they'll come back to that and probably soon.
Klingler is paying the price. Look at Thomas. No one picks him up. And Crooms is also in early.
Yeah, he'll get rid of it just a little bit quicker on that screen.
So Charles Langston back again. He had a 52-yarder his first try. A decathlete. There's Shane Garrett back deep. High snap. Almost blocked. And Garrett calls for a fair catch at the 34-yard line. Line drive by Langston for 31 yards. Well, William Thomas and a long line of great linebackers, part of the wrecking crew at A&M. Remember Johnny Holland, Aaron Wallace, Larry Kelm. Boy, they've had some good ones.
Yeah, and you know, there was an article in the paper this week talking about Texas A&M and Penn State as being linebacker U, and that's pretty much true. As many good linebackers they have. And I was interested also, they have 22 ex-players in playing in the NFL right now, and how many of those are linebackers?
The Aggies set it up now with 8:33 left to play in the first period. A&M leading it 10-0. Bucky Richardson wants to throw on first down across the middle. He's got his tight end, Derek Ware. The Aggies are doing just about anything they want to do. That's a 24-yard pass play from Richardson to the junior, Derek Ware. Boy, he threaded the needle right over the outstretched arm of Eric Blunt.
They talk about he being the runner and the other one the thrower. Pavlis being the thrower. That's a good throw.
First and 10, A&M. Option down the line. Look at Cadrez. He's trailing. He's got it. Cadrez shows you a lot of speed as he came all the way across the field from his right defensive end position.
Burnett makes a great play here at the bottom. He strings it out. Look up at the top. That's excellent effort. But look here at big 88. He took on the block with Lewis and kept the leverage, and Bucky Richardson had nowhere to go.
Well, a loss on the play of about 8 yards. There's Glenn Cadrez. Came in from El Centro, California as a linebacker, but now he's been a defensive end the last couple of weeks. Richardson needs 16 for the first. He's got to get to the Houston 32-yard line. Richardson, Garrett, Shane Garrett is dragged down, but not before he picks up some big yardage. Kevin Smith. Correction. That was Garrett on the reception, and Daniel Johnson playing defense. Watch the crossing pattern.
Bill, what they're doing is they're putting Wilson in the slot. He's blocking, and then Lewis is blocking. They're sprinting that way and running the two-man route, a curl and a flat route. Nice execution.
Shane Garrett with 3 receptions already in this game. Third down. The Aggies need 4, and it looked like Pappas may have jumped. Garrett has 3 catches for 38 yards here early.
Bill, that was a good job of Mike Arthur. I think when the nose Hooper jumped into the neutral zone, he popped the ball up and got him a 5-yard penalty.
Well, that's the veteran Mike Arthur making his 30th start for the Aggies. Look at that.
Yeah. Popped that ball up before he could get back, and that's an easy 5.
And it's an A&M first down. High formation A&M. Flip back. Here comes Darren Lewis. Again, a big block by Wilson. Lewis inside the 20 to the 15. Simmons, excuse me. 17 yards. Look at Simmons. We saw him at LSU.
Yeah, great. He did a great job down. Look at the block of Wilson on Perry. Just neutralized him. An excellent job of Oliver blocking downfield. Good ball carrying by Simmons.
Cornelius Patterson checks in at the top of the screen. There you see Bucky Richardson coming straight at you. Simmons again, left guard. Got about 4 inside the 10-yard line. And right now the Aggies are doing just about anything they want to. Glenn Cadrez on the tackle for Houston along with Jerry Parks.
Bill, Randy Simmons did a great job of running. The hole was stopped to his right, and he cuts it back over the left guard.
So now Lewis will check back in as Simmons goes out. When Lewis was thrown out of that game in the second quarter against LSU, Simmons came on and really picked up the slack for the Aggies. They've got a lot of depth in that offensive backfield.
Till he finally got tired, he was a real factor.
All right, sending Wilson in motion. Hand off to Lewis. Left side. Lewis. Touchdown, A&M.
Another great block by Wilson.
And the Aggies are pouring it on the Cougars. Lewis now 6 rushes for 69 yards and 2 touchdowns. What a start. He might just leap into that Heisman picture here.
Yeah,
right?
quick.
Lane Talbot is good. In fact, the Aggies have been perfect in the first period. A&M has scored on all 3 possessions and lead the Cougars by 17.
There he is. He's got the end man Burnett turned all the way around, and then good job of carrying the ball by Darren Lewis.
Kenny Perry couldn't get there. Jamie Mouton tried to get there. He couldn't. Now watch the block. You'll see it good this time.
He works himself all the way around.
Reggie Burnett.
On Reggie Burnett, and then Darren Lewis just dives into the end zone. Right there. That's great. That's great ball carrying.
Last year, Lewis was supposed to be in the running for the Heisman Trophy from the get-go, but he reported to two-a-days about 20 pounds overweight and got off to a terrible start and never really got into the running. Andre Ware got off to a great start and overtook him. This year, with less fanfare, Lewis is doing a lot more.
Well, I would say, as you said earlier, he's jumped into the hunt for the Heisman now.
Talbot's going to get a leg cramp here in a minute. This is his 4th kickoff. Cody Smith coming wide. Needs a blocker. And he's across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Jason Medlock on the tackle for A&M, and look at that. The total yardage in this game. The Aggies with a huge advantage.
I don't believe there's a person here that would have predicted that before the ball game.
Well, I think RC's calmed down a little bit.
Oh, he'll get excited again here in just a minute. Oh, Jenk's looking a little nervous right now.
A little anxiety on the face of John Jenkins. However, Ray, we must point out again that this Cougar offense can score lightning quick.
That was the point I was making earlier. It's still not a time to panic. There's ample time with this kind of offense.
Blitz again by A&M. And the screen pass goes to Weatherspoon. Big yardage at the 40. Could go. Weatherspoon inside the 40 to the A&M 35-yard line. Well, that time they made the Aggies pay. 38 yards for Chuck Weatherspoon on the screen pass from David Klingler.
That was a little bit different look. He's out wider than the run and shoot normally runs a screen. Now watch the job of Chris Crooms come in from behind and run him down. Number 6.
Also a great block on the play by number 72, Jason Jessup, the right tackle for Houston. As you see, Chuck Weatherspoon broke Donnie Anderson's Southwest Conference record for all-purpose yards last season. He's got a lot of records in his sights this year. Klingler on first down. And he throws it out of bounds. Intended for Brian Williams at the A&M 15-yard line. He was covered.
They've taken Spoon out, giving him a little bit of blow, but I wouldn't think it'd be long. He'll be back in there. That was very good execution of the screen. As I say, this run and shoot screen's in a little tighter normally. They had moved him out wider on the screen.
Weatherspoon had his ankle stepped on a couple of weeks ago, and then he got his knee twisted a little against Baylor last week, so he has been slowed considerably, and he did not practice all week long. Weatherspoon back in behind Klingler. Second down, Houston. Here come the Aggies again on the blitz, and flags everywhere, and Thomas with a hit and a tackle. Wait a minute. There's no flag by the officials. The whistle was blown at the start of the play.
They'll have to blow that whistle a little bit louder. They're going to get Klingler.
It'll be hard to hear in here, no doubt about it. Lloyd Dale, they're having a conference. False start. I think it's been a false start since the get-go for Houston.
Yeah. Again, his screenplay certainly gave him a big lift. A 5-yard penalty on second down is not a big deal in the run and shoot. That's a piece of cake, really, when you look at it.
Well, Ray, they're obviously giving Houston screens and draw plays, because if they're going to come with that blitz, right now, if you look down that line,
there's one down lineman, and that's John Miller, the nose. I look for him to run the trap in there in a minute with all this blitz and break somebody and break Witherspoon upfield. There it is right there. That was a good call, John.
Larry Horton made the tackle along with Quentin Coriat. Anthony Williams couldn't secure Weatherspoon. That shows you how strong Weatherspoon is, because Williams weighs 242 pounds.
Well, I tell you, Chuck Weatherspoon is very, very strong. He's 5'7", and that is compact.
Now, this is a big third down for Houston. The Cougars have to keep this drive going. They're down 17-0, 3:41 left to play in the first period. That's Brian Williams out wide. Manny Hazard at the top of your screen along with Good. Here comes the blitz again. Weatherspoon can't catch it.
Got a personal foul, roughing the passer.
That's what it's going to be. Klingler was really decked.
There's no really reason for that. You know, they've got the drive stopped, and all of a sudden now they're going to move him 15 yards further up the field. Tyrone Malone on the roughing call.
Yeah, that ball had been released in plenty of time, and so that's a mistake. that really gives you gray hair.
Yeah, you don't want to take away from a young man's aggressiveness, but they have to use good judgment, and that was not the use of good judgment.
That would have forced the Cougars into a 4th down. I don't know whether they would have punted being down 17-0, but look at Klingler, 1 of 6 so far in this game.
Bill, another thing there too was they had a field goal attempt blocked last week against Baylor on their left side, so and you know the distance might have been prohibitive also.
3 wide receivers by Houston on the right side. They're going to go option. Back to Weatherspoon. He's got a blocker. He cuts it inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Hey, there's a little twist.
Yeah, that's another good run and shoot play. 3 receivers up the top of the screen. It could have been a check, and this is good execution. I don't know whether I would want to do that very often as he was falling, but that's good execution by Klingler and Spoon.
Klingler's knee was close to being touched down on the play as Marcus Buckley. Spoon now with 4 carries for 20 yards. I think R.C. Slocum thought he may have been down.
That was a very, very close call.
2nd down now for Houston. Klingler into the end zone. He has Manny Hazard. Touchdown, Houston. Thank you very much. Hang on to your seats, folks. We've got a barn burner in the
not over. I'll promise you that. That was a nice touch pass by Klingler over all the defenders and laid it up into Hazard's hand.
Roman Anderson will attempt the extra point. He has been perfect.
As I said, they broke down last week on their left side. I'm sure they worked to correct that this week.
It's good, and the Cougars are right back in it. 2:40 left to play. The Aggies 17, the Cougars 7. Watch Manny Hazard, the All-American, in action.
Up at the top of the screen, they moved Sanders out from his normal S-back position to over behind the right tackle, and he made a block on the outside linebacker.
Klingler avoids a rush by Thomas. Yeah, that's a touchdown.
That was a nice throw. A well-executed drive.
Roman Anderson now has made 69 straight extra points. And that's the best in the country. Well, with yard line, Garrett and Cornelius Patterson back deep for the Aggies. It's going to be Patterson at the 20. And he's down at the 25-yard line. Preston Bailey was in there, along with Chris Pesman again.
It's hard to feel, but at 17-7, you feel like the momentum has shifted.
Holding on the Aggies. So, again, they will have poor field position, but it hasn't bothered A&M up to now.
No, they started the first possession with 2 tight ends and 1 wide receiver and just lined up and hammered the ball.
Back 10 yards from the end of the run. First down.
So the Houston goes 73 yards in 5 plays. It hasn't taken either team very long, has it?
No, Bill, the other day against Baylor, they were hit 13-0. Baylor came out and scored. Houston went 68 yards in 2 minutes and 38 seconds right back.
They don't look very concerned on that Houston bench. Aaron Lewis in the backfield. That was Trey Hooper, and he finally got in to make the tackle. Hooper has 37 tackles this season, along with 3 sacks to lead the front 3 or front 4 by Houston this season. This is a very young Houston defense as we take a look at John Jenkins talking to his offense. The Cougars play 6 freshmen and sophomores on defense. Bucky Richardson down the sideline. Garrett, he's got it at the 40, cuts back to the middle. Garrett at the 40, dragged down from behind at the Houston 30-yard line. Shane Garrett, a 55-yard pass and run play.
That's a great throw, Bill. They had him in halves coverage, and he runs a seam route That is a great throw by Richardson and a nice catch and a nice run after he catches it.
Well, the Cougars are coming up, Ray, trying to support on that run, and he found Garrett alone on Zach Chapman.
Yeah, that halves coverage. Your safety's got to get off the hash. That was just a great throw.
Garrett will take a breather. He has 4 catches now here in the first quarter with 1:32 left to play. Wilson met by Hooper first on the line of scrimmage. Also Ryan McCoy in there with Glenn Cadrez. Boy, there was a collision. You could hear it all the way up here. Richardson, you talk about getting a save out of the bullpen now that we're at World Series time. This youngster came to A&M's rescue a couple of seasons as a freshman in the Cotton Bowl and again as a sophomore. He may be coming to the rescue again his senior season.
Right, and he's doing it in a way a lot of people wouldn't think he would. 5 out of 7.
Down the line, Richardson on the option, inside the 20.
Billy jumped the end up field to take the pitch and force Bucky to carry the ball, and he did a great job of executing and turning it up inside.
12 yards and an A&M first down. Carlos Leon saved a touchdown.
Another good block by Wilson. Put that ball away, son. The Houston end took the pitch away, and Bucky did a good job of seeing that and turning it upfield.
And he's got a little mouthing to do, but I think that's become part of college football now. Back to Wilson. Cadrez stands him up. That's a good one-on-one tackle.
I tell you, Eric Blunt made a good play there. He read it in a hurry and came around the corner. He missed the tackle, but he slowed his progress down where the rest of the defense could get to him.
All right, the Cougars running in some extra defensive people. Now it'll be 2nd down and 7. 3 seconds left to play. Will they get the play off? They do with 1 second left. Lewis.
What a job of ball carrying, Bill.
10-yard line for Darren Lewis. And that will be the last play of the first quarter. And what a first quarter it has been. 24 points scored, but right now the Aggies are trying to go for another touchdown. A&M leading Houston 17-7. May have a new Astrodome record here for a college football game. Crowd still coming in. 3rd down. The Aggies need 2. This is a big.
Good job again.
Well,
Houston jumped into the neutral zone, and Mike Arthur popped the ball up. Unless he got back, I think it's going to be 5 for the Aggies.
Well, let's see again. Arthur trying to catch Houston jumping. Did he get back is what the referees have to decide, the officials. It's going to be an A&M first down. Mike Arthur now has accounted for 2 first downs on his own. He's a pretty good offensive weapon. The freshman Steve Mateka jumped off.
You know, you've got to see the football, and that's tough. Every defensive line coach works on seeing the football. Don't listen to the quarterback's voice.
Defense. It's first down.
Say something about Mateka, though. He's a freshman. He's going to be a great one before he leaves Houston.
They're very high on him, obviously, or he wouldn't be their #1 guy. And he'll learn from that mistake. It could be costly, but he'll learn from that mistake.
1st and goal for the Aggies at the Houston 4-yard line. All right, there's a stoppage in play. Well, I can only speculate. I have no idea what that was all about.
He just asked him if he knew a good restaurant they could eat at tonight.
Okay.
He just thought of that.
4-yard line. Darren Lewis going wide. Darren Lewis outside. Touchdown, A&M. Darren Lewis with a 4-yard run around the right side, and the Aggies have scored on all 4 possessions.
Kenny Perry had a shot at him, but he's just too strong. Watch Kenny Perry reach for him. Robert Wilson blocked 2 men on that play.
Look at that nifty move by Lewis to get inside the end zone. 9 rushes for 77 yards for Darren Lewis. Talbot again with a kick. It's good. And the Aggies score again. A&M 24, Houston 7, and we may be headed for a new A&M scoring record.
Body down and step in the end zone. See, Perry has a shot at him. Darren Lewis is awful strong. He couldn't bring him down, and then his feet, you can see what kind of feet he had there from the other shot when he got to the end zone.
Ray, with all due respect to the tank and the bull, that's Wilson and Lewis, I think Pee Wee Herman could run behind that offensive line.
Yeah, I would think so. I haven't seen Pee Wee run, but I know this. I was just looking at the 2 tackles, 168 and 167. It looked like 2 big walls up there, and then the 2 guards, and Arthur's a great football player.
McCall weighs 288, Keith Alex 285, Arthur's the small one at 261, Pappas at 270.
And Arthur may be the best player.
Cody Smith at the 5-yard line. Smith at the 25, and that's as far as it goes. Darren Lewis 77 yards rushing. Jason Medlock on the tackle for the Aggies on the kickoff. And the scoring drive, that may have been the longest it took A&M so far.
Darren's mother sitting down here in front of us. I assume that's her. She got Lewis with his number in it, but she hadn't moved. It's kind of like this is just the old hat for her.
Well, of course. Nothing to get excited about. My son does it every week. Well, all the Cougars can hope to do is keep pace offensively. Hand off Weatherspoon, nowhere. Quentin Coriat, the 6'4", 238-pound junior out of Baytown Lee on the tackle. Coriat, one of the leaders on the team in tackles.
Looks like they're going. They've got Weatherspoon down here at the bottom of the screen.
Going to go long, intended for Berlin Brown. And it hits the back of Derek Frazier. The Cougars want a flag. None is coming.
Well, that was good coverage by Frazier. It was a good job of Berlin Brown of not showing him the ball was coming. He ran with his arms down at the last minute, threw him up. The ball was just underthrown and outside.
R.C. Slocum said we want to blitz. Last week Baylor decided to stay back and not blitz, and Klingler eventually picked them apart. But Slocum's theory is to make the young quarterback make a quick decision. Sometimes that's a bad decision. 3rd down and 11. There's the inside shuttle to Weatherspoon. He's got blockers. 35. Weatherspoon dives for the 40-yard line, and it's a 1st down, Houston.
Good execution. It's kind of an underhand shovel pass.
A lot of people think it's dangerous, but it's not.
It's an incomplete pass if it's dropped. See, he threw that kind of a shovel pass, and look how strong Weatherspoon is. Look at him. Oh, he almost lost the ball. That's good execution of the screen. It was more inside than the other one was. Now they moved the back. Sanders up to the top.
Klingler across the middle, doesn't have a lot of time. Now he finds a receiver. Tracy Good across the 50 into Aggie territory at the Aggie 47-yard line. A gain of 14 more on the play. So 2 quick Houston 1st downs. Kevin Smith on the tackle for the Aggies.
I will say this. He is throwing the football with people headed right for his chin.
So far, however, the Cougars have not stopped the Aggies defensively, and that's been the story of this game. The Aggies have scored on every possession. Houston will have to try to keep pace. Little screen pass is flipped. Cooper with a catch inside the 40. He's got some blockers. He struggles to the 36-yard line. Patrick Cooper with a reception. I thought it would never come down. William Thomas made the tackle, a gain of 9.
Every once in a while, Bill, you've just got to be lucky. That's all. The ball was tipped on the slip screen and came right into Cooper's hand.
Cooper has 7 touchdowns. Look at Thomas. Got a piece of it. That's what the Cougars are going to have to run now, the quick strike. They don't have a lot of time to look around. Klingler now is 5 of 11 for 90 yards.
They've got Weatherspoon out of the ball game. I would assume to let him get a little bit of breathing time, but he won't be long. He'll be back.
.19 seconds left on the play clock. Plenty of time for Klingler to call the play. The Cougars need 1 yard for a first down. Klingler rolls left. Going to go to the end zone. He's got a man, and he boots it away. Oh. That was Brian Williams. He had the ball and kicked it away.
Bill, that was a true sprint out there. They put Sanders up at the top of the screen, and Klingler runs all the way around at the corner, to the corner. It's a true sprint out.
Boy, look at how far he throws this ball going away from it.
Right, and he did not have his shoulders completely square to the line. What a throw.
Oh, he dropped it right in. Kevin Smith was there, could not defend on the play. And Brian Williams let a touchdown slip right through his hands.
Texas A&M now, with him doing rolling full or sprint, they're going to have to widen their people out a little bit to keep him contained.
Watch Weatherspoon now. They need a yard. And Klingler will keep for the first down. Otis Neely on the tackle.
One of the things is you look at A&M's defensive backs. Frazier over here looks like he's fairly winded. You can't keep running those receivers upfield and the guy running off with them without getting worn down a little.
Here come the Aggies again. Handoff quickly to Weatherspoon. He's inside the 30. He bulls his way to the A&M 28-yard line.
Sprint draw. Good play. Well executed.
R.C. Slocum, I think he's still pretty happy with the way things are going right now. His team leading at 24-7 with 11:34 left to play in the second period. The Cougars are being very patient. They're taking what the Aggies are giving them.
I would assume Klingler's going up to the top of the screen. There he goes.
One of the guards or tackles for Houston straightened up. It may have been Giesler or Jessup on the right side. I think it'll be illegal procedure, Houston.
It wouldn't be hard to do that with all those people running at you. Get you an early start.
Ball start. Offense. Down.
So it'll be second down, about 9 to go as for the Cougars. Jason Webb is in the game. We haven't seen him all season. He had been nursing some injuries all season long, and he is in there now also for the Aggies on this play.
They have 3 down linemen, Bill.
Tipped up in the air. Hazard makes the catch anyway and runs out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Well, the Aggies are doing the smart thing. They're getting their hands up.
Right.
A lot of times on those short passes by Houston, that can be effective.
As tall as Klingler is, he's still having trouble throwing over him. There are your 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, there was a pick.
Yeah.
It's illegal, isn't it?
It's supposed to be. That's a big 2-point play with most people. You know, you start hollering, watch the pick when they huddle.
That's a first-rounder for you, Manny Hazard. Not only can he catch the ball, he can run with it. Big third down play now for Houston. The Cougars need 7. Here comes the blitz again. Klingler, fumble, and Houston has it, but it'll bring up 4th down. William Thomas coming in again. Watch the white jerseys. Look at Coriat.
Coriat's there.
There's Coriat from behind.
That was all-out blitz. They had all 11 up within 3 or 4 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Well, check this out. 4th down. The Cougars are going for it. Houston needs 12. What do you think about this, Ray?
Well, I would punt, I believe. The way A&M's moving the football. He's got a lot of confidence, John does, in his offense.
Thomas Inside to Weatherspoon. Hold everything, however. There is a flag on the play. Let's see what it is. Weatherspoon not able to handle that pass from Klingler. It'll be offsides A&M, so the Cougars get another chance.
In Weatherspoon's defense, Bill, that ball was thrown awfully hard. And that's tough to handle at that short distance. I think the call was good, but it's tough to hold that ball at that short distance, thrown it that hard. Now they're going to be, I wouldn't punt the ball now. I believe I'd go on and go for it on the 31.
Fourth down. The Cougars need to get just inside the A&M 25-yard line. 12 seconds to get the playoff left for Klingler. A&M jumps. Quick handoff, Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon has it. He's inside the 20 to the 18. A great call by Houston. First down, Cougars.
Trap play. That was a great call. You got to hand it to Jink and him. That's a heck of a call. The right guard gets a nice trap.
Eric England has to save the day for the Aggies. Watch number 92 as he chases the play.
Mike Giesler, it's a nice trap block. That was a good call, a heck of a call.
First and 10, Houston. Here comes a blitz. Frazier, Klingler across the middle to Hazard. He's got it. Hazard with a beautiful catch at the A&M 6-yard line. Oh my goodness. 12-yard catch and first and goal for Houston.
Bill, he sprints, almost sprints again. That shows you his arm strength. He's throwing that ball falling back. That was normally you wouldn't want your quarterback doing that. Nice catch by Hazard.
24-7 Aggies. 9:40 left to play, but the Cougars trying to get back in it again. These two offenses have been brilliant. The Aggie defense has been brilliant at times, but it's hard to plug all the holes in the dike with this run and shoot.
Look for the option up at the top of the screen as a possibility. No.
Inside handoff, Weatherspoon, and he is stacked up at the 3. The ground cannot cause a fumble, so Houston will keep possession. Eric England and Larry Horton on the tackle. We haven't seen a lot of England this year. He's a 6'3", 243-pound freshman out of Sugar Land.
If A&M gives them that same alignment, Bill, they might go with the option up at the top of the screen, either on a check or maybe call from the press box.
Second down, goal to go at the 3-yard line. Quick out, and he underthrew his man. He had Hazard at the 1, and he underthrew it.
It was a good call, just a poor throw. Didn't deliver the football. I believe he would have scored.
Looked like he tried to rush it a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, Jenkins said, I'm not punting anymore. He's gone for fourth down twice from way back at the 40-yard line. So you know he's in 4-down territory now. And here go the Cougars. Handoff Weatherspoon. He's denied at the 1. Coriat along with Thomas. They met him right at the 1-yard line.
The Houston offensive line's doing a good job of coming off. As many people are taking every gap and controlling gap control. The A&M defense is. That's a good job of coming off the ball.
How tough is it on a run and shoot team with no tight ends to score down here on fourth down?
It's very difficult, particularly with one back in there, Bill. A lot of people go to 3 backs when they get in this situation.
All right, here it is. Listen to this crowd. 4th and goal. Weatherspoon, touchdown, Houston. What a collision Weatherspoon had. I think it was with Quentin Coriat at the goal line. And the Cougars are right back in it.
Bill, they put 3 receivers to the top of the screen and just ran what amounted to a quick pitch to Spoon over here to the short side. It's a good call. A good job of their people in the press box spotting that.
Roman Anderson with the extra point, trying to make it 70 in a row. He does. So the Cougars ride the running of Weatherspoon and scored their second touchdown. Oh, what a football game. The Aggies lead by 10 with 7:54 to play. Ray Auburn, this is just brute strength.
Yeah, a good call. It's kind of an underhand toss, like a quick pitch, and watch him put his head down and get separation and get in the end zone. It, as we've talked about before, is extremely strong. That's a good call by their staff.
This Weatherspoon is a real warrior, isn't he?
Yeah, he is a very, very physical young man. And when you look at him, you wouldn't say a guy 5'7" would be that way, but he is tough, tough, tough.
Well, he weighs about 220 pounds at 5'7". Weatherspoon with 10 carries for 45 yards and that touchdown. Darren Lewis on the other side has 9 carries for 77 yards and 3 touchdowns. So we are seeing 2 of the best running backs in the country in action today.
I don't think there's any doubt. And I tell you, Wilson, as we've talked about before, I think is a complete football player. So we're really seeing probably 3 good running backs involved in the game.
Wilson could run, but he's busy blocking a lot for Lewis.
And I tell you, Simmons is certainly not a slouch.
There you have Patterson and Shane Garrett back deep. The Aggies have scored now on all 4 possessions. The Cougars have scored on 2 of 4 possessions. 7:54 still left to play in the second quarter. It's 24-14. Patterson at the 1. And he doesn't quite get back to the 20-yard line. He's tackled at about the 17.
Bill, this has been a very, very physical football game. Very well played.
And Ray, I think as we take a look at the scoring drive, I think this may be the key series for this Houston defense. Somewhere along the way here in the first half, the Cougar defense has to shut A&M down.
Yeah, as we talked in the last drive, they have got to establish themselves at some point. This would certainly be the proper time to do it.
Bucky Richardson has been brilliant here in the first half for the Aggies. He'll throw on first down, looking for it all. Shane Garrett. Garrett is covered. Almost an interception by John Brown. And the Aggie is saying to his girlfriend, why are we passing when we are rushing for so much?
Well, that's a statement right there, I think, to stay back off of us and don't get up on us. I believe, you know, sometimes you do that in this game, although that statement could have cost him an interception.
Tyrone Davis injured his knee last week against Baylor. He was the veteran. John Brown is just a freshman out of Amarillo. So another pure freshman for the Cougars, but he played that play brilliantly.
He was in great shape.
Second down, A&M. Quick pass, knocked down by Glenn Cadrez behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe the Cougar defense is trying to make a statement. Let's see.
It's a good job of getting his hands up with it. He got the cut block, and he's still able to get his hands up. And that's the backs talk, cut him so he can't really get his hands up. I would look for draw play here, Bill, something conservative.
Key down for the Houston defense. The Aggies third down, needing 10. I formation behind Richardson. Roll out. Richardson. Complete at the 30, but I don't. Yeah, he did make it. He made the first down. What a catch by Gary Oliver. Jerry Parks was there, but a little too late. A key third down conversion. That's a
great call. A nice throw. Had a little zip on it again, going to his left, which is a difficult throw. And Oliver is a possession kind of guy and caught the football.
He has 3 touchdown receptions this season, so when he does catch them, he makes them count.
A former walk-on at Texas A&M. And you always pull for those guys and coaches' sons. They're unbalanced line here with a tackle up at the top of the screen.
Richardson on the roll again. Burnett, long pass, downfield, overthrown, intended for Shane Garrett, and Parks had him shadowed all the way. I'll tell you what, Richardson had to hold the ball just a second too long, and he paid the price. Well, it wasn't.
No, that wasn't anything like Klingler has taken today. That unbalanced line is enabling them to sprint that way, and they're using the tight end on the backside to block away from the pressure. And they, I'm sure, have the play where they can leak him out into a pass route.
There's a whistle down on the field, and a timeout has been called by Houston. Well, you know,
how do we stop up and protect those inside gaps? Talking about Baylor and A&M, what a ball game that was last year, Bill. You and I had the pleasure of doing that. What a football game that was.
It was a dandy. Richardson is 6 of 11 for 129 yards, and that's already a career high for Bucky Richardson.
Unbalanced line again.
Quick handoff. Wilson.
Oh, my goodness.
Busts out across the 40. And a touchdown saving tackle by Carlos Leon. I'll tell you, if Leon doesn't trip him up, he's off to the races.
And the big man was moving in, buddy, I'll tell you. You're right. He doesn't tackle him.
Well, we've got holding on the Aggies, so bring it back.
Well, I'm sure it was flagrant. The umpire wouldn't call it. And not in that situation. But, you know, you can call holding on every play. And
I think they only call it when it really gives you the advantage.
On long games.
On long games, that's right.
No, I tell you what they've done. They've legalized offensive line play now where it's almost big-time wrestling every time the ball snaps. So it had to have been flagrant, I'm sure, for him to call it. And like I said, to give you an advantage.
Both teams shuttling players in and out of the lineup. Second down and a whole bunch for the Aggies. Here comes a blitz on Richardson. He unloads to Derek Ware. It's not there. Ware says, I was held at the line of scrimmage. He's looking for an official, but he can't find one.
I would guess he probably was, just guessing. I didn't see him all the way. Bucky Richardson did a good job of escaping the rush on the bootleg.
Well, the Aggies have to get all the way to the 40-yard line for a first down. And it'll be third down for A&M.
If Houston holds them right here, Bill, they're going to have good field position and plenty of time left on the clock.
6:54 left to play in the second period. Richardson with a lot of room. He'll throw. He's got a man. He drops the ball. Oliver had the first down. Oh, wait a minute.
No.
They're going to say he caught it. A fumble. Houston has it. I don't know about this, but Daniel Johnson recovered the fumble for Houston. Well, play official, Ray. Does he have it caught? Did he bring it down? Well, he did.
He did.
That's a fumble by Oliver. He had the first down. He fumbled, and the freshman, another one, Daniel Johnson out of Amarillo, makes the recovery. And Houston now with a big turnaround has the ball on the A&M 41 with 6:45 left to play, and a touchdown here gets them right back in. Klingler on a roll right. Klingler going downfield, intercepted at the 1-yard line by Kevin Smith. Intended for Marcus Grant.
That's a throw that Klingler would like to have back.
5 interceptions for Smith on the season. 16 in a fabulous career. He passed Lester Hayes last week. In fact, his interception against Tech last week saved the game for the Aggies. Look at that, 16 career interceptions, and the Aggies have had some great ones.
Yeah, he's in a long line of great defensive backs, but that's a ball that I don't know where Klingler was throwing it, and I'm sure he would like to have that one back. So many things enter into, from a coaching standpoint, you know, just throw the ball on the ground or get out of bounds with it. Don't throw it for grabs.
Well, you also have to take into account, last week, John Jenkins said the receivers for Houston were not running the right patterns. Maybe the receiver made a wrong cut.
Right. But as I said, I thought he got awful frustrated.
Kevin Smith, Lester Hayes had 14 career interceptions. He has now passed Hayes. He has passed Kip Corrington, Pat Thomas, Dave Elmendorf. We're talking about All-Americans, and Kevin Smith is only a junior.
Yeah. Bill, I saw him play in high school, and we recruited him at Lamar and felt like he could play either side of the football. That's the kind of athlete he was. As you can see, he can catch a ball. So we thought he'd been a great wide receiver in the run and shoot.
The one thing, and we talked about it earlier, the one thing that allows the Aggies to blitz Houston is because they have such superior talent in the defensive secondary to cover one-on-one.
Exactly. If you don't have those kind of backs, you can't do it.
One wide receiver, Cornelius Patterson in the lineup. I formation, handoff Wilson. He almost got it. Oh, he does. Wilson across the 20, and he's still dragging Jerry Parks across the 25-yard line. Oh, the bull. 26 yards.
What a play. Just kind of get out of my way and let me go.
Looked like Tracy Gentry may have been in on the play, but he couldn't slow him down, and Parks had to save the day along with Hooper. Wilson, they tried on the left side, but this time Eric Blunt was right there to help out. There's Doug Carter on the run.
Bill, I'm impressed with Ryan McCoy. He's a good-looking freshman linebacker.
There you see the time remaining in the second period. The Aggies lead at 24-14. Bucky Richardson has been at the controls, and he has been brilliant. Two wide receivers. Darren Lewis with the fake. Richardson throws to his big tight end, Dennis Ransom. First down, A&M.
Bill, Bucky has done it all today. Now he's run the ball, he's operated the option, and he's thrown the ball very well.
18-yard play. Watch the fake and then the pass. That Ransom now is 6'4", weighs about 262, and he was covered by Kenny Perry, but he was just so much bigger than Perry.
Right, and I tell you, the throw was outside just enough that Perry couldn't reach in and knock it away. And as you said, Ransom's a big, strong guy.
First and 10, A&M. 5:05 left to play. Second quarter, going right. Lewis into Houston territory. A gain of 8 on the play.
Robert Wilson again puts a guy on the ground. If I'm a pro guy, I want Robert Wilson.
Well, they're all looking at him, no doubt about it, Ray.
Moses.
There's some great pro prospects on that offensive line and backfield for the Aggies. And Wilson is only a junior out of Worthing High School in Houston. He may be the featured man next year.
Well, I'll tell you what, he is an impressive football player.
Second down, the Aggies need 2. There's Wilson. Pops outside, and he's tackled by Carlos Leon, and that was a touchdown-saving tackle. He had his sights set on the sideline, and he was going to go for 6.
That's a nice cut. I mean, watch him put his head down right here.
Let's talk about some blocks by Keith Alex, Matt McCall, Mike Arthur. Look at the right side of the Aggies. Look at the double team on Hooper. And McCall just seals off, doesn't he?
They just walled everything off. And when you got that kind of back, you give him a little daylight. Put a body on a body.
Aggies on the move again. Richardson had a little trouble getting it. Threw it up for grabs, and it was almost intercepted. Richardson was trying to throw it out of bounds, but almost threw it into the hands of Carlos Leon.
And that will make RC's hair a little bit grayer. Oh, my goodness.
And Burnett was coming on the blitz. So was Ryan McCoy.
Best thing to do there is take the ball and just get back up the field and get what you can get. Start doing those kind of things.
The Aggies have busted for big runs so far in the first half. Richardson tackled from behind by James Bevel, the junior out of Jasper, 6'2", 250 pounds.
That was down the line option, and Bevel got penetration, and he wasn't able to pitch the football.
Loss of 4 on the play for the Aggies.
It was a good decision by Bucky Richardson to keep the football and not try to pitch it at that point.
So it'll bring up third down and about 14 needed. A&M and Richardson have been able to come up with a big play. Let's see if they do it again. Blitz by Houston. Richardson running for his life. And he got outside and ran out of bounds. Boy, I don't know how he got away from Cadrez. Also, Bevel was rushing. And he just got back to the line of scrimmage after all of this.
Yeah. He is running for his life right there because there's some beef chasing him.
Well, what the Cougars were able to do, however, Ray, is keep the Aggies from scoring. They pushed him back out of field goal range, so Talbot doesn't have a chance. And now for the first time in the game, we'll see Sean Wilson. He has not had to punt. The Aggies have not had to punt until now. Wilson averaging 43 yards a punt this season. He's a good one. But this one went off the side of his foot. Let's see where they line it up. And the Cougars will get a break as the ball 20-yard line. Well, the run and shoot has 3:35 to try to get on the scoreboard. Houston trailing by 10. A little reverse. Brian Williams looking to pass. He has Verlin Brown downfield. He cuts it up instead, and he is hammered by Coriat at about the 20-yard line. Verlin Brown had run a deep pattern, but they didn't fool anybody. Good coverage by Kevin Smith.
Texas A&M was right on the play.
Watch Corey out here at the end of the play. He puts an exclamation point right on it.
Yeah, you don't want to duck your head down like that. That's scary. You need to keep that head up when you're going to get hit like that.
Coriat reminds me a little of John Roper, who used to play for the Aggies in that middle position. Klingler going to throw to Hazard. Good runner, but he has nowhere to go as he gets to about the 25-yard line. Hazard is one of the best receivers at running with the football after he catches it.
Bill, that was an interesting play. They faked the screen to Witherspoon over here and threw the slip screen up at the top to Hazard. You can see Spoon turn it around, and they went the other way with it.
Coriat again did a good job of coming in and making the play, even though he was blocked. Third down now. 2:19, 2:18. Clock running down in the first half. Witherspoon on the draw, pops outside. What a great open field tackle by Marcus Buckley, the sophomore out of Fort Worth.
That was a big play. He might have, if he'd gotten outside, he may have had the first down.
Buckley has been seeing some more action the last couple of weeks, and you see why. He's very active, but he plays behind William Thomas.
And that explains why he's been seeing limited action.
There you see Langston so far in this game. This will be his third punt from his 11-yard line. Line drive kick to Shane Garrett. He's going to have some running room. Garrett gets it back to midfield, so the Aggies have super field position with 1:27 left to play in the first half. A 39-yard punt, but Mr. Langston's going to have to find some more hang time.
Yeah, those low line drives will get you in deep trouble in this kicking game.
1:27 left. Bucky Richardson looking outside to Oliver, and he's run out of bounds, a gain of 5.
I don't know whether that was predetermined or not, but they brought the corner over there, and it was a good read on Oliver's part to take the out and get the short yardage and completion.
Is that a Cougar?
I'm not sure what that was.
1:22 left to play. Now second down, 4 yards needed for the Aggies at the U of H 45-yard line. Richardson looking for Oliver, and it's intercepted by Houston. Ryan McCoy. Oliver had it, and he dropped it.
Right, and he tipped it up, and that's a good job of breaking on the football by McCoy.
Boy, Oliver has had 2 now pop right out of his hands. It hit him right in the hand. What a good job by Parks to get him away from the football.
Right. And Ryan McCoy, he had an interception last week against Baylor. That's a pretty good play for a freshman.
And Richardson can't believe it because he's credited now with his second interception, and neither pass was his fault.
And I tell you, that ball was thrown with enough zip that he should catch the ball and bring it down.
Remember, I said this freshman's going to be an All-American before he leaves the University of Houston. We'll talk more about Ryan McCoy. He's the real McCoy.
He's a Beaumont guy, Bill. They're all proud of him down the Golden Triangle. Played at Beaumont Central.
Quick pass to Verlin Brown. That got Houston about 5, maybe 6.
In this offense, a minute 11, that's an eternity.
Yes, it is.
It's an eternity.
So we've had a few turnovers. There's McCoy. Ryan the real McCoy. 2 interceptions this season. Ball at the Houston 40-yard line. Klingler going for all of it. He's got Marcus Grant at the 10. It's interference. Interference. Larry Horton and Derek Frazier interfered with Marcus Grant at the 8-yard line.
He aired that ball out.
Well, if he throws it out a little more, it's a touchdown, but Grant has to come back for it, and that's very obvious there. No doubt about it, as Frazier was all over it. But in college ball, you just penalized from the line of scrimmage, huh?
Yeah, that's not a bad trade-off. You know, particularly teams that play man, they'll tell the guy, if you're beat, just tackle the guy, take the penalty, and we'll play another down.
Defense, 15 yards, and an automatic first down.
I don't like that rule for that reason.
Yeah, and against a throwing, when you're a throwing football team, that can really hurt you. Because people play man as the Aggies play man. I'm not saying they tell their guys that, but there are a lot of people who play man in college football who tell them, if you're beat, tackle a guy. We'll take 15 and play another play.
I'd much rather have the ball if I was A&M at the 45. That was a touchdown if he doesn't interfere.
Exactly right.
First down and 10 for Houston at the A&M 45-yard line. Little quick pass to Tracy Good, right through his hands. 1:01 left to play.
Bill, 10 seconds have elapsed, and look at all the action we've had with the run and shoot. You know, it just, people don't understand the run and shoot. When you coach the run and shoot, you've got a 2-minute offense all the time. You're in 2-minute offense.
Yeah, your big problem is trying to stall when you have a lead. Huh?
In Northern Illinois a few years ago, I told the offensive coordinator, don't score too quick. And he looked at me like I was nuts. And we ended up winning. We scored too quick, and they had a chance to come down and kick a field goal to beat us.
Well, David Klingler had to call a timeout. He didn't have the right people. Cougars need 10 to keep the drive alive. 1:01 remaining. Aggies come on the blitz. William Thomas. Klingler gets around him. Here comes another. Here comes another. Klingler throws it up for grabs. It's intercepted. Anthony Williams. And he gets to the 45-yard line.
Now he stepped out of bounds back here. They're not going to call it.
There they are. Klingler stepped out of bounds. The referee right on top of it. That would have been the second interception. There he is.
Bill, as a coach, he's got to understand, hey, we're in an offense where we'll make a big play. Don't try to force and make something happen. And that's twice that's occurred.
A loss of 12 on the play for Klingler. So now the Cougars have third down and a couple of time zones coming up for a first. 54 seconds left to play. Houston has to go to the A&M 34-yard line for a first down. The ball on the Houston 44. What do you do? Try to get half of it, maybe?
Yeah, try to get half and then scream.
Weatherspoon has it, and he gets across the 50 into A&M territory, but a pretty good job by the Aggies.
Anthony Williams is assigned to Spoon on the screen here. You'll see number 48. Watch him trying to get through right there. They did a good job of picking him up and blocking him. That must have been his man responsibility.
Oh, Marcus Buckley, look at the good job he does. And Klingler really takes a shot.
Corey,
Klingler's going to be in that whirlpool for a long time tonight.
Yeah. He'll have his arm in ice and his whole body in that whirlpool.
19 seconds left, and the Cougars take their final timeout of the first half.
Tell you, Bill, I'm impressed with the condition of the Texas A&M secondary. You run those receivers off down the field, fresh receivers all the time, as many as Houston plays, and they seem to be still in covering very well in full speed.
Well, the reason this is such a big game for Houston, as you look at the remaining schedule, the Cougars have only SMU, Arkansas, TCU, and Texas remaining to play after the Aggies. So Houston 3-0 in Southwest Conference play. If they could get a win here, would be 4-0, because they end up the season in Tokyo against Arizona State.
I wonder if I could get on that trip with them.
Well, I'm sure you could.
Oh, good old Jinx, I could go as a manager or something.
The University of Houston students, they want a first down. The Cougars need 12 yards. 4th and 12. 19 seconds left in the half. Here's the blitz. Again, the shuttle pass. Weatherspoon's going to have it and then some. Weatherspoon at the 30, at the 25. First down, Houston. They'll have to stop the clock to move the chains. 11 seconds left. Clinton Coriat wrapped him up. All right, now, will Klingler throw the ball down? A 25-yard gain by Weatherspoon.
Yeah, he's got time for at least, well, not with the clock running. He's set the chain.
And he throws it down, stops the clock with 6 ticks. Now Weatherspoon limping. Remember, he's had the tender ankle and leg. And I think John Jenkins is doing a smart thing. He's going to try to go for 3.
Yeah, you get something on the board and give yourself a lift going in the dressing room, put you within 7 points. As I mentioned earlier, Bill, last week on Houston's left side, they had a field goal blocked. I'm sure A&M, of course, saw that in the film, and Houston has worked on it.
39-yard attempt for Roman Anderson. Down by Perry. It's up. It's gone. Just as 3 zeros hit the clock, Roman Anderson gets the Cougars within 7. What a first half we've had in the Astrodome. Over 50,000 are witnessing one of the most exciting games of the year. Stay with us. The Aggies 24, the Cougars 17. How fired up he was and ready to go. Now he's gone to the water trough.
He's going to get him a sip of water to cool down a little bit. I thought he was going to pour some on old James Wilson standing there in front of him.
The Cougar faithful excited that the Cougars will have the football to start things off in the second half, and Lane Talbot will kick it low. A squibber. Tracy Good, and he almost found a little tunnel, and then he found a quick stop. Otis Neely met him. And look at the possessions by Houston. This is the best job of defense I've seen put on the Cougars since A&M played last year.
That's a really good job. They had the 16-play drive, and otherwise they haven't really maintained possession of football.
David Klingler in the first half. That blitz bothered him. I think it ruffled his feathers a little bit, but he was able to stay composed and throw for a touchdown. He has 1 interception. But he's been having to go to Weatherspoon more than he would like.
Well, I'm not sure that that's all bad, Bill.
Klingler down and out. Complete to Craig Alexander for a 12-yard gain and a Houston first down, and nothing fancy there.
No, that again indicates the strength of Klingler's arm. He lays this ball on a rope to Alexander going to his left.
Marlon Haynes gave Alexander a lot of cushion.
Did you see him get his shoulder square? He really drills that football. Nice job of concentrating, because he knew he was going to get popped by Alexander.
Quick out pass, Verlin Brown trying to get outside. He can't do it. Good job of coming up by Derek Frazier on the play. And the Cougars get maybe 4.
He's pretty safe with the inside receiver there. In case somebody breaks in to try to intercept it, he would be able to knock him away. So that was a pretty safe throw.
And those are 2 quick patterns, so in case the Aggies were blitzing, it negates that blitz.
Yeah, and I think getting the ball to Weatherspoon in all the different ways they did in the first half may have changed A&M's theory a little bit.
Look at the 3 wide receivers in a box formation. They go to Weatherspoon over left tackle. He bounces off one. Bounces inside to the A&M 44-yard line. It's like tackling a bowling ball.
That is, I guess that's probably as good a description as I've heard.
You know, some of the old timers don't remember Charlie Toller, who used to play for the Oilers, but he reminds me a lot of Charlie.
Yeah, except he may be a little wider bodied than Charlie was. I don't remember what Charlie weighed.
Maybe a little faster than Charlie.
Yeah.
Of course, there have been some great running backs at Houston, too. Gibson, Robert Newhouse, Dickie Post. And somebody jumped off sides. Let's see now if the Aggies jumped off or did the Cougars draw them. And they'll talk it over. Did you get that score? Texas Tech leading Arkansas 28-6.
Arkansas will probably be really happy they're leaving the Southwest Conference.
Well, if they don't get that program back on track, they're not going to like going to the SEC one bit.
No, that won't be a very won't be a happy party for them over there.
False start. Offense. First down.
So Lloyd Dale tells you it'll be 1st and 15 for Houston. For the most part, with all of the action we've had, both teams have done a pretty good job of keeping the penalties down. I think as fast and furious as the action is, it's hard not to have any penalties. Look at the receivers now. Weatherspoon comes back on the right side. 3 wide receivers at the top of your screen. Klingler will roll right. He's being pursued. Goes across the middle, and it was almost intercepted by Coriat a little bit behind him.
Bill, the Aggies went with a 4-man front, and they twisted then. I don't know whether it was a twist on flow or whether it was a call twist to bring a little heat, but they dropped 7. A little uncharacteristic from the first half.
Warming up for Richardson on the sideline. Now, Tyrone Malone has been playing stand-up linebacker all season. They have him squatting down, number 93, on a lot of occasions. They brought in a quicker Marcus Buckley and a quick freshman, number 92, Eric England, the youngster out of Willow Ridge High School. A little bit of a switch in the attack. Now 3 down linemen by R.C. Slocum, 2nd down. Hand off Weatherspoon. Big yardage. Weatherspoon inside the 35. And he bowls his way to the 32-yard line before Larry Horton wraps him up. 18 yards and a Cougar first down. Boy, he's a load.
Just a sprint draw, and that's a big part of the run and shoot. Bill, is in particular the execution with Klingler looking upfield.
You notice Horton ducking his head. You don't like to get in Weatherspoon's face, do you?
No, it's hard to get in his face when he's been down that low.
First down and 10. Cougars trying to march for the tying touchdown. Klingler. Quick pass. Tracy Good. So much, too, of the run and shoot is predicated on the fact that a short pass can turn into a long gain, Ray, if a tackle is missed.
Exactly. Two plays last week against Baylor to the outside receiver. That exact thing happened. Ooh, that's a good block by Witherspoon there.
So it was important that Horton wrap him up. And he did. Now watch the secondary in action.
So Horton's off of him a pretty good way, but that's a good job of breaking on the football and making a tackle for a 4 or 5 yard gain. That play is just a statement that we will throw the ball in the flat by the University of Houston.
Klingler fakes it, throws it up to Marcus Grant. One-handed catch. He's got blockers. Grant at the 10, at the 6. What a block by Jason Jessup.
Yeah, that was an excellent play because that ball was Andy Overjob there.
Well, he was trying not to get it blocked by Malone. He just hung it up, and look at the one-handed catch by Grant.
That's just a great execution. Not the way you would draw it on the board or talk about it. And then great job of carrying the ball by Grant.
So the Cougars, after a 19-yard gain to Grant, will have 1st and goal from the A&M 7. 3 wide receivers again. Cooper, Good, and Manny Hazard. Klingler looking for Good. He's open at the 4. Good at the 1, and he's driven back. He was trying to go inside, but keep in mind that Tracy only weighs 167 pounds, and I doubt that.
Yeah, that was just what they called the bubble route in the run and shoot.
Watch Kevin Smith come up along with Marlon Haynes.
This is great defense by the Aggies. Harton, Smith.
Those aren't boos you hear from the Cougar faithful. They're yelling spoon. I think they want number 28 to carry it into the end zone. Second down and goal for Houston. Somebody moved. Could it have been the center, Greg Jones? Did he move the ball too soon? Yep, he sure did.
Well, that's not all bad in the run and shoot. You got 16 yards to work with now as compared to 11.
But Ray, let me tell you, you got second and goal from the 1, and a Weatherspoon's a cinch. And that could be a costly penalty. We'll have to wait and see.
Bill, where they had Weatherspoon lined up at that time, he was way outside the left tackle.
But that's where he dived for touchdown against Baylor last week.
And so he's behind the right tackle over here. Now it'd be the counter.
No. Here comes a blitz. Klingler, Thomas behind him. Out of bounds. It was completed to Hazard, and he went down. Now remember, he's playing with a badly bruised arm and shoulder. His shoulder dislocated in the first game of the season, and he landed funny on it.
That's a great catch. It's just, you know, he's just out of bounds. But that is a great catch. Great concentration.
Cooper comes out of the game. It'll bring third and goal now for Houston. Let's see if the Aggies blitz again. Here they come. Thomas picked up. Pass. Hazard. Does he have it? Nope. He's at about the 1/2 yard line, and now it'll be fourth down for Houston. Chris Crooms and Kevin Smith just got him down. And here we go.
Who do you think's going to get the ball?
Well, I'll guess Weatherspoon and take all the guessing out of it, or it could be a quarterback.
Klingler's going to go on the early snap, just tee in the center, I bet. Maybe not. That's a big run and shoot play.
All right, there is. Well, Klingler wants a timeout. There was confusion in the huddle, and the clock was down to 11 seconds. 10:39 left to play in the third period, and when we come back, we'll see if Houston can tie up this game. It has been a thriller. Has taken over here at Houston for Jack Pardee. Jenkins with coaching stops at Pittsburgh, with the Gamblers at Mississippi State, and now at Houston. And I guess, Ray, he's the guru of the run and shoot for college football coaches.
Yeah, he worked with Mouse for a year, and everybody runs a run and shoot, puts their own little rendition into it, and John's done that certainly here.
Okay.
But he's one of the few in college football.
Here it is. Fourth and goal for Houston. They're having to wait because you have to let a certain amount of time elapse for all the commercials to get in. Okay, here we go. Sit back and enjoy. We'll let the crowd tell you what happened.
There it is.
And the Cougars now are 1 point away from tying this game up.
That's a big play in the run and shoot under Mouse with Jim Kelly. We ran that a lot at the Gamblers. The center's uncovered, and you get just a little tap on the center's fanny, and you go with it.
Roman Anderson with his third extra point. 71 extra points in a row for Anderson. Can you believe it? The Aggies jumped out to an early 17-7 lead. Increased it to 24-7. And now the Cougars have tied it at 24. Call it again.
He's going to just snap. See, you didn't see the back move back there. No one knew when he was ready to move except he in the center. And of course, your defensive people are relaxed and they snap the ball, and you can make some easy yardage that way. You can also get your quarterback killed. I always worried when Kelly was running that thing.
Well, the youngster has shown a lot of poise. He was rattled early with that blitzing by A&M, and look at the Cougars trying to get the crowd. That's Ted Pardee, Jack Pardee's son.
I saw Ted as I was coming up in the elevator. A fine young man, good bloodlines, and doing a good job on the special teams here with Houston.
Well, 50,000 on their feet. What a football game, and we've still got 10:37 to play in the third quarter.
We're getting our money's worth, Bill.
It's something.
But I would imagine Texas A&M will go back and do the things that they did to put them with their lead. There's no need to panic. They'll just do what they've been doing.
Roman Anderson will kick off from his 35. Shane Garrett, Cornelius Patterson back to the Aggies. Anderson really gets his foot into this one, and he drives Patterson into the end zone. Touchback. That young Cougar defense was really tested early. The Cougars are starting 4 freshmen on defense against one of the best offenses in the country. There you see, that's pretty much a long scoring drive by Houston, 4:23.
Yeah, that's probably a minute and a half longer than what they normally take. The offensive guys get tired when they have to play that long. Unbalanced line to the top of the screen, Bill.
Wilson across right guard, and he gains a good 5. Eric Blunt brought him down. As you look at what the Aggies did, and look at what they did the first 4 times they had the football.
Yeah, they got 3 touchdowns and a field goal. That's pretty good results. But look at the last 3 possessions. The Houston defense began to become a factor and mature and play a little bit better the last 3 possessions.
Second down, about 5 for Richardson and the Aggies. Option down the left side. Richardson with running room. Pretty good job of covering up. Looked like Steve Mateka, the young freshman out of Deer Park. His father played for the Cougars back in the 60s.
Bill, Ryan McCoy came around the horn and then had a chance to make the play and overran him. He was pretty upset with himself. He'd have made the play behind the line of scrimmage on the down line option. A&M has gone quite a bit with the unbalanced line. Now they balanced it up again, just a normal pro set.
Third down, the Aggies need 3. Richardson rolling right. Wilson first down and then some to the 35-yard line. Boy, is he a load to bring down, too. Carlos Leon had to tackle him in the open field. A gain of 8 for the A&M.
Another facet of his game is catching the football. He shows nice soft hands here. Get constant. Look at him catch the ball in his hands and turn up. The pro scouts will be impressed with that, the way he caught it in his hand.
Tony Harrison in the game at the lower part of your screen. 1st and 10 A&M. Lewis. Nowhere. The Cougars look like they're really forcing the run a lot better now. Cadrez was in there along with Ryan McCoy. Watch the force by Houston at the line of scrimmage.
And they forced it well and got good pursuit. Again, A&M was in the unbalanced line. Ooh, that is a nice tackle.
Now, Cadrez is a linebacker, remember. That's his position when he came to Houston out of junior college. They had shifted him to the end, but it's just kind of like playing an outside linebacker for him. He stands up. Down line option. A missed tackle. Richardson gets through one, but he can't. Oh, lateral. Lateral. Wilson. Ball knocked out of his hands. It's recovered. Houston kicking it around. Houston has the football. The real McCoy. There are flags back at the A&M 37. It may be a forward lateral. Let's wait and see. If not, Houston has the football. It is a forward lateral refused by Houston. The Cougars have it. A&M had a 30-yard gain negated by the fumble to Wilson. And a much subdued R.C. Slocum now on the A&M sideline. All right, it's going to be tough to see, but see if you can see the forward lateral. Jerry Parks, here comes Wilson at the top of your screen, and he is in front of Richardson.
Plus, Bucky had the ball swinging it out like that. Oh, nice job of stripping the ball by Perry, Bill. That was a good strip.
By the way, Kenny Perry wanted to say happy birthday to his grandma, Irene Bryant, who is 72 years young today. So happy birthday, Irene Bryant, from your grandson, Kenny Perry. And he gave you a little birthday present.
Yeah, that was a nice job of stripping the ball. That shows he's been well coached when he knocked that football out like that. Those same officials would have done well in the Ohio State-Illinois game last week. When they had the forward lateral against beat Ohio State.
Well, now, Ray, the tenor of this game has switched in favor of Houston.
Right. And I think it all goes back to the series before the half, Bill. When they stopped them, and then they came down and got the field goal as the clock ran out. And you can't help but go to the dressing room, particularly having been down like they were early, go in the dressing room feeling a whole lot better about yourself. And as I noticed, the Cougar players ran off the field. Some of the Aggies were walking off the field. So, you're dealing with the young men that have these ups and downs, and that's an example of what's happening right now.
The emotion of college football. 1st and 10, Houston. Handoff Weatherspoon, not much room. The Aggies now are starting to stay at home. That was Tyrone Malone who made the tackle along with Chris Kroon. Hey, there's that youngster England we haven't seen a lot of, Eric England. He was the Houston Touchdown Club's Defensive Player of the Year last year out of Willow Ridge High School, one of the most highly recruited freshmen in the country. So you're seeing Eric England for the Aggies and Steve Mateka for the Cougars, 2 freshmen playing prominent roles on defense in today's game.
Highly unusual in these 2 programs.
Klingler going deep. It's going to be intercepted by Derek Frazier. Here he comes back at the 42. Got running room. Trying to go wide. He slips, and a clip's going to be called on Anthony Williams. Well, was he trying to throw it away or what?
Well, I can't tell, but again, you don't want to try to force something to happen. Bad things. See, you're falling away from the line of scrimmage. That's, you overestimate your arm strength, and he threw the ball with good distance. This clip, I don't know about.
Watch number 48 now, Williams. He's called for a clip at the end of the play right there.
Yeah.
That's pretty close. Whoop, no, there's one right there, though. Did you see the clip at the end of the play? That may have been what the flag was for.
No, we got to win this one.
Derek Frazier telling you what the Aggies have to do. Klingler talking it over with John Jenkins. So 2 turnovers now. Is the game getting a little sloppy? The Aggies have it on the 26.
3 receivers to the top of the screen. There's a slip screen to Garrett.
Good job by Zachman, but he cuts in front of him, and Garrett with a good open field run. He got by the freshman John Brown, the freshman from Amarillo. Had him wrapped up and lost him, and Jerry Parks had to run him out of bounds. Watch Brown come up in a hurry. Here's another freshman.
He kind of jukes John right there, but he'll learn from that. He's playing against a seasoned veteran.
12-12 left to play. All right, 7:21. The scoreboard, I'm in trouble reading it. 7:21 left to play in the 3rd period. The game all tied at 24. 2nd down, looking for running room. Fumble! Who's got it? Houston has the turnover. A normally reliable running back. And Reggie Burnett comes off the bottom, the veteran linebacker for Houston. Let's watch it develop again, but Wilson doesn't fumble very often.
Right, and he's trying to bend it back. He's got the ball out away from him right there, and again, you can see Burnett reach in and strip the ball away.
Burnett stripped it, and I think Trey Hooper may have wrapped it up.
That's just good football right there.
Again, the momentum shifts to Houston's side, and RC begins to pace. The turnover count has risen to 5. Klingler from the A&M 35-yard line. He's got Tracy Good. 15, 10, shoots a man. First down, Houston at the A&M 6-yard line. A pass and run play of 28 yards.
They went with a 4-man front again. They twist, Bill, and they lose containment. Klingler comes on outside. Gives himself plenty of time to get away from the backside rush. Nice throw and catch.
Boy, what a big tackle. Kevin Smith has a bushel full of big plays today, and so does Tracy Good. 5'6", 170, out of Clute, Texas. He played at Brazoswood and Brazosport.
Oh, he played at both. I remember that.
You don't hear of that too often.
No, not in the same community.
Uh-oh. This could be devastating to the Aggies. Does he have a cramp? It looks like a cramp, and that's good news because that will go away.
Yeah, they can get him out for one play, and he'll be back in. But I tell you, as much as those guys have run up and down the field, it's no small wonder that they are cramping up a little bit.
Well, you know, Ray, the Cougars shuffle in 2 sets of receivers. Last week, Klingler threw to 12 different receivers. If you've got to stay with the same defensive backs, it's got to take its toll eventually.
I don't think there's any doubt. Bill, we ran the run and shoot at Lamar. We went in the game plan. We felt like we had to have 10 wide receivers ready to play that were willing to bust their fanny every time the ball was snapped. If you don't, because it becomes an ineffective offense, you don't run off down the field. You can't get reads on what they're trying to do coverage-wise. And like I say, if you're playing with 4 or 5 defensive backs, it makes it very difficult. But I would think he just cramped up, and he should be back in there pretty quick.
Well, Klingler showing a little sportsmanship as he applauds the great play of Kevin Smith. Now, Kerry Vincent, who hasn't played very much, a senior out of Port Arthur Jefferson, number 19, is in for Smith. Do you pick on him, or do you just call a regular play?
Well, I would guess they're cognizant of the fact that he's in there, because you have a guy as number 1, he's number 1 for a reason. He's not number 1 just because you like him. So they may very well go at Vincent this time.
Klingler has really turned it around in the second half. 7 for 10, 82 yards and 1 interception. First and goal, Houston.
Here comes blitz all the way.
And he throws it away. You know, I think Klingler looked up and saw Derek Frazier and just threw it over the head of Hazard, not wanting to risk an interception.
And if he did, that was probably a wise move. Let me tell you, Houston's doing a better job of getting out backside, Bill, and protecting Klingler's backside. The center was out then and made the block and helped him get where he was able to throw the football.
Second down and goal, Houston. 6:53 left to play, third quarter. Into the end zone for Hazard, and he overthrows it. Big pressure that time by the Aggies up the middle.
I believe A&M has just said, we're going to blitz you every time, see if you can throw it and catch it.
Chris Crooms, number 6, who has 2 sacks on the season. Corey Ott was coming. He has a couple of sacks, and William Thomas has 8 on the season.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him run the ball right here, Bill. As an element of surprise.
Third down. The ball at the 6-yard line. And that's not a fumble. That was a screen to Weatherspoon, but boy, Crooms was coming in a hurry. Chris Crooms made the play defensively for A&M, and the Cougars will send in the field goal unit.
3 blitzes in a row on the 6-yard line. It's a good call to screen. They just couldn't get it executed. Weatherspoon fell down or got tripped up.
Main thing about throwing that up for grabs, you got to be sure somebody in a white jersey doesn't run under it.
You know, some people will take the fullback and tackle him every time.
Roman Anderson. What a career he has had at Houston. his second field goal of the game, a 23-yarder, and the Cougars, after trailing 24-7, have taken the lead by 3. And watch Chris Crooms, number 6. He's in there so fast, and Weatherspoon fell down.
Yeah, he tripped on Truitt's feet, I believe. He got tangled up.
6'3", 194-pounder out of Baytown Lee, right down the loop from the Astrodome.
Played for one of my college teammates, Jim Stroud, Bear Stroud, is a head coach at Baytown Lee.
Well, we've seen a little bit of everything, haven't we? What a dandy game. 6:40 still to play, only in the third quarter, and we've had all kinds of fireworks. You got your money's worth tonight.
Boy, no kidding. And we've been going at it for 2 hours and 27 minutes. Or they've been going at it.
This crowd, believe it or not, is almost exhausted, but the Aggies and the Cougars are still up on their feet for the kickoff.
Well, you got to hand it to the Houston football team coming from behind, as we talked about, because of the run and shoot. They've got to feel like they've got a chance anytime during a football game. At the same time, the Aggies, Robert Wilson fumbles a football uncharacteristic of him and gives Houston a 3-point lead, the opportunity to get a 3-point lead, but they certainly still aren't in any dire straits at this point.
Roman Anderson will kick it off again. Again, it will be Garrett and Patterson for the Aggies. This time there will be a run back. Garrett at the 8-yard line. He comes right up the field. Fumble! Roman Anderson! Another turnover by A&M! Oh, my! Anderson last week against Baylor made a touchdown-saving tackle on a kickoff. He is a very good athlete. Anderson makes a lot of things happen, not just his foot.
Right, and he was kind of playing safety right there, and the ball came loose, and he falls on it.
Look at how Garrett's carrying that football, Ray.
Like a loaf of bread. Hands. Oh, right on the right helmet, right on the football.
Tyler Muco making the tackle.
Tyler Mucho. I like that name.
Muco. Get it right.
I'm sorry. Tyler, I'm sorry. I like that.
Clock is down to 1, and Klingler has to call a timeout. Look at the clock. The game clock down to 1 second, and the Cougars burn their second timeout here in the second half and have only 1 remaining. Well, we'll take a break. Rally by the Cougars. They own the football. We'll be back in a moment. Rush Thomas. How did Klingler get out of there? Thomas had him wrapped up.
He just ducked under that, and they got a flag.
Might be clipping on Houston, the early indication. Well, it's holding. I knew it was one of those big penalties.
Well, again, on first down, I know people get tired of hearing this, and I'm not saying the run and shoot is the answer all, but on first down, 1st and 20 is not the end of the world. Whereas in a conventional 2 tight end offense or the wishbone, that creates a lot of problems.
Offense.
How about that? A&M did what you said, Ray. As you take a look at the total yards, the Aggies almost doubling Houston, but A&M turned that penalty down so that they would get second down.
Right, and it's second and about 13 as compared to 1st and 20. May not have been a bad decision.
So the Aggies wanted the down rather than the yardage. Let's see if that gamble pays off. That's John Brown III at the top of your screen. Hazard and Good. 3 wide receivers to the left as Klingler changes the play. 6 on the game clock. Weatherspoon for only a couple. Marcus Buckley wrapped him up. Big John Miller, the senior out of Saline, was another Aggie in.
Houston just sent 2 fresh receivers into the ball game. Bill, so they're keeping their guys fresh and their legs under them.
That's Patrick Cooper, who is touchdown man for Houston. Watch number 83 on this play. He has 7 touchdowns. He makes the big play, and he's going against Kerry Vincent. Klingler. It was intended for Cooper, but knocked down on the play. That William Thomas has been everywhere.
He's a great athlete and plays hard. Watch him get his hands up here.
See, Jessup was interested in getting out on the screen in a hurry, so he didn't hold the block very long, and Thomas was able to knock the pass down. So it'll set up a punting situation. We saw Charles Langston quite a few times in the first half. We haven't seen him much lately. Larry Horton will be back on his 10. They do not expect a run back.
They're going to take a delay here.
You want Langston to have a little better angle. The Aggies might refuse it.
It's been a great football game.
It really has. It's had all the ingredients.
People think Southwest Conference football is
on the downside.
Lacking. Yeah, they need to look at all these people here and then have seen the football game, and I think they realize
I think it's on the way back, Ray.
It's a very competitive league.
Tim Wacker at TCU. The Horned Frogs won again today over Rice. Texas was leading Oklahoma early today. The conference is back. I snap. Langston. Is he going to run? He tries to kick it, and he does. How did he kick that football? Look at it. The ball goes down to the A&M 3-yard line. Oh, my goodness gracious. He kicked it through a keyhole. I'm sorry, RC. I don't think you have any complaint coming here. That's a 38-yard squibber.
That's unbelievable.
I cannot believe it. All right, here comes he would have had it blocked. He kicks it right under William Thomas. Can you believe that?
And then what's the roll?
Oh, boy. You couldn't draw that up any better.
I don't know what coach would draw that up.
Aggies back on the 2. Wilson, he got running room to the 12. A 10-yard gain for Robert Wilson before Trey Hooper wraps him up. Langston was a decathlete, came to Houston last year. He is the best, they say, one of the best athletes on the team. He can play any sport, and he really needed that athleticism on that particular play.
Well, that was very definitely a play that indicated he was more than your average punter. I've seen a lot of punters that happened to. They'd have dropped the ball and run from it.
Well, that wasn't quite 10 yards. It was 9, so it'll be 2nd and 1 for the Aggies. Lewis gets the first down over the 15. Now, remember, earlier in the game, the Aggies' 2 touchdown drives came inside their own 20-yard line.
All right, and they've got 2 big tight ends in there, and they're with 1 wide receiver, and they're going to just line up and hammer it at the Cougar defense. It looks at this point.
Now Oliver has come in to join Shane Garrett, 2 wide receivers. In the slot is Wilson. Handoff again to Lewis. Pretty good job, James Bevel, of closing the hole in a hurry.
James Bevel's a young man from Jasper that was very heavily recruited. He lost his starting job to Mateka early in the year. And, I read in the paper where he said he still thought he had a chance to get it back.
He may have gotten it back tonight.
Yeah, he's played quite a bit of football.
All right, 2nd down. The Aggies need 8. Ball on the 18-yard line. Richardson wants to throw. Here comes Burnett. Burnett makes him throw it away. Boy, that Burnett is 6'3", weighs 240, and runs like a deer.
Yeah, he is a very impressive-looking football player. I tell you, he hadn't been as big a factor this year as he was last year, but I think that goes, some of the people he was playing with, as you mentioned earlier. But what a good-looking athlete he is.
From the hometown of Elvin Hayes. That was another pretty good athlete they recruited out of Rayville, Louisiana.
Yeah, that's 2 quality athletes.
Third down for the Aggies. Still 8 to need it. Blitz by Houston. Richardson throws it away. And that young Houston defense holds one more time.
And here's where a Sean Wilson can be a real plus for your football team here, Bill.
We've talked about bloodlines before in this game. Ted Pardee, Steve Mateka, and now Sean Wilson. His daddy was a pretty good punter for 16 years in the NFL. Now Jerry Parks is back deep at midfield. We're talking about Gerald Wilson, of course. Kansas City and Houston. Sean Wilson. This one's end over end. Parks can return it. Nope, I think he called a fair catch. 39-yard punt by Sean Wilson, who's averaging 43 a punt on the season. Let's check out our Budweiser scoreboard, and TCU winning again. So Wacker says it's unbelievable.
And I tell you, Bill, that was a big win for them after having been so high last week to play Arkansas. I'm sure they were very concerned going in
and
to play
for
right.
the second year in a row, Texas has defeated OU. You owe me a Coca-Cola, Coach. 14-13. Texas over Oklahoma. Baylor wins big over SMU. Michigan State has upset Michigan. Can you believe it? And Virginia will be the #1 team in the nation come Monday morning. Georgia Tech continues to win.
Homer Rice and the boys.
Check it out. Notre Dame wins big. So does Ole Miss. And Penn State defeats Syracuse in a battle of the East. Weatherspoon on first down.
But Chris Crooms is having himself quite a day, Bill.
Well, I think the first one in was Ramsey Bradbury, #8, and then Anthony Williams got in. We haven't seen Bradbury much today. He's a junior out of Richardson. 6'2", 187. So because of the fatigue factor, I think that RC's had to go to his bench.
Yeah, and you keep those guys fresh when you've got to rush a passer as much as they have to do.
Here they come again. Out pattern to Brian Williams. It's not there. Defending on the play was Marlon Haynes. But again, the Aggie pressure forced Klingler to throw it maybe a count before he wanted to.
Yeah, he threw under, kind of sidearm, threw that under one of the Aggie defenders' arms and almost completed the thing. I'm really proud for David McWilliams and his staff. That's a great win for Texas and for David, and also for the Southwest Conference to beat Oklahoma.
And except for a last quarter defeat to Colorado, the Longhorns could be in the top 10. Might be. Third down, Houston. Screen pass overthrown. And it might be a good thing for Hazard, because that would have been hazardous to his health.
Yeah, he would have... and the other thing is, it may have been intercepted.
Closing fast was Marcus Buckley. Well, now all of a sudden it's become a defensive struggle. Now Langston does not punt the ball very far. You see his average today, but that's below his average on the season. And it's going to be another short punt up high. He's got to hope to get a roll, and he doesn't do it. I don't think that punt went over 25 yards. An 18-yard punt off the foot of Charles Langston, and the Aggies will have super field position.
That will cause your hair to get grayer and grayer.
7 straight possessions without scoring, and that has R.C. Slocum a little worried. Here the Aggies have it again. It has gone from an offensive game to a defensive struggle. Lewis, a loss of 2. He tripped in the backfield. And right there to wrap him up was Reggie Burnett, who has really come to play in the second half.
You and I talked about Reggie the day before the ball game, and he has really played well and made some very big plays in the second half. That was just a counter sweep that was a little bit slow in developing, and allowed Houston pursuit to get over in front of Darren Lewis.
Second down, A&M. Richardson throws it out to Tony Harrison, a freshman out of Forest Brook, one of the most highly recruited wide receivers in the country, and that's a 15-yard pass play from Richardson to Tony Harrison. And here's another fine athlete.
Yeah, and watch the touch that he puts on that football. He didn't drill it. He just kind of laid it out and gave Harrison enough room to work with it. It was a very heavily recruited athlete out of Forest Brook.
Remember, Oliver has dropped a couple, so Harrison is in there in his spot. Here comes Lewis going left. What a super submarine job by Kenny Perry.
Bill, if they keep coming like that, A&M, I'm sure, has a halfback pass. If they're going to support like that, Darren can pull that ball up and throw it. Then we get a big play out of it.
Here's another of those munchkins at 5'8", 160, playing strong safety. Kenny Perry.
That's a tough 160. That's a tough one. I'll tell you, he's shown a couple of times today how to strip the football to young players. He played very well.
Second down, the Aggies need 8. The ball just in Houston territory. Fakes the draw play. Richardson has a receiver open. Oliver at the Houston 22-yard line. Gary Oliver knocked out of bounds by Carlos Leon, but not before he gains 27 yards on the play. What's Burnett doing out there?
He's funneling him to the inside, and he's supposed to drop, so he just can't get himself turned around to get to the football like that. That's good. It's a good job by Oliver after he had dropped a couple of passes.
Now the Aggies at the Houston 22. Lewis. Trey Hooper wrapped him up. Number 94.
Well, he's a good football player. Last week in the Baylor game, his helmet came off, and he was rushing the passer trying to hit him.
You know, I would like to isolate sometime on Mike Arthur and Trey Hooper. They have had some kind of war down in the trenches. There you see Lewis. Needs a couple of more for 100. Second down, 35 seconds left in the third quarter. Here comes Wilson. He's got a lot of room. And a big tackle at the 15-yard line by Cadrez, and that may have saved 6. Now watch Arthur go to work.
He worked himself all the way around on that play. Good job. Darren Lewis. Watch the block up at the top of the screen by Darren Lewis. These two guys work well together and for each other. Look at Darren Lewis block that guy and turn him all the way out.
Third down, the Aggies need 3, and that's going to be the end of the third quarter. Well, after all of this, we come down to the final 15 minutes. Whose game will it be? Right now, the Cougars are on the threat. It's on her cheek and an Aggie skirt.
Yeah, you might better just avoid that one.
Well, let's take a look at the total yardage. Wow, the Aggies have gone up and down the field, but turnovers and some penalties have cost A&M, and the Cougars have made the most of their 291 yards.
That's exactly right. The yardage they have done an awful lot with it.
All right, big down now for both teams. Third down, A&M needs 3. A&M needs to get to the Houston 12 for a first. Lewis, left tackle. Did he make it? It's going to be close. Trey Hooper was hanging all over him. And if he didn't get it here, I'm sure they'll go for it here in a moment. I think you see Oliver indicates first down, Aggies.
Bill, that's an awful lot of confidence in your offensive line and your backs right here. Kind of isolation play, and look at the block.
I tell you, Mike Arthur just took Ryan McCoy right out of it.
But I mean, to run that play on 3rd and 4, you got confidence in your football team.
Oh boy,
just a little bit short.
Well, let's see if they bend the point down, though, Ray. Let's see.
He's going to put his
card in between it, and that means the Aggies have that much. First down.
Well, Bucky did a little lobbying there for that one.
Might be a politician. Lewis now has 18 carries for 101 yards and 3 touchdowns. And look at the first downs for A&M. All right, here we go. Ball on the 12-yard line. 1st and 10 Aggies. Lewis popping left at the 5, 4, 3, touchdown A&M. Oh, what a run by Darren Lewis.
He shows all the things he can do right here, Bill. Look at him take it outside. Now watch his acceleration. He jukes right here. What an athlete. What an athlete.
A couple of missed tackles there. Parks missed one. Leon missed one. Extra point by Talbot. Lewis now with 113 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. And the Aggies have regained the lead. We've got a whole quarter left. A&M is now on top. The Hopefuls have had some bad games here recently. Darren Lewis may be moving up that Heisman list.
I would say his stock has increased with the afternoon he's had, particularly against the Houston football team.
One missed tackle, there's 2.
You just can't block a player like that down. You want to put your head across the bow and really club him up. Now, I don't know about that little dance.
Lewis now has 4,080 yards, and he is now 3rd on the Southwest Conference all-time career rushing list. He has passed James Gray. So now only Earl Campbell and Eric Dickerson stand in that young man's way.
And I tell you what, Bill, that's 2 really, really fine Southwest Conference football players, and both of them have great pro careers. So he's in really, really high cotton when he's talking about those kind of.
As Bum used to say, they may not be in a class by themselves, but it doesn't take long to call the roll. All right, Tracy Good at the 5. Good. He has a lane. Oh, and he was tripped up at the 35-yard line, or he may have gone. Tracy Good, one more step, and he's off to the races. Trent Lewis may have been the man who tripped him up. A 31-yard run by Tracy Good.
He stutter steps and lets it clear out, and then, oh, what an effort.
Watch it. Oh, what a block. Who was that for Houston? I think that was Tyler Muko. That's Tyler Muko with a tremendous block for Houston. He's done it all on special teams today.
Tyler lifted that young man's feet up off the turf.
1st and 10 Houston. Here come the Aggies again. Klingler going long. He's got John Brown. Brown at the 15-yard line. JP3.
What a throw.
51 yards. John Brown, a junior out of Dodge City, blazing speed.
Watch him, Bill. His arms did not come up. He ran full tilt until the ball was right there. That's a great job of catching the ball. A heck of a throw by Klingler.
Marlon Haynes was the last man to stop him, and John Brown gets the Cougars down inside the Aggie 15-yard line. He has run the 100 meters before in 10 flat. He is the fastest man on the field. Klingler trying to throw it away, and he's wrapped up. The tackle by Ramsey Bradbury for a loss, and the Aggie defense meets the challenge. Hey, this Bradbury has come on to play himself a whale of a second half.
Has made several big plays. I believe they've got the screen covered inside, and Klingler didn't have any place to go with the football. Good job of tucking it away.
The speed of the Aggie backs.
I tell you, Bill, their whole defense they have tremendous team speed on defense, and that's certainly an asset when you're playing the run and shoot.
Now the Cougars have to get to the Aggie 4 for a first down. Klingler across the middle. intended for Hazard, and he couldn't find his target inside the 5. Good defense by A&M as Hazard was open momentarily. Good coverage by A&M. Now we need to point out that if you watch Astros baseball, they are going towards home plate where it would normally be here in the Astrodome. This is surrounded by all Aggies. So it's going to be very difficult for Klingler to call the play. The Aggies are up and waving their handkerchiefs. 3rd down. 23 needed. Handoff Witherspoon, big hole, and it's cut off in a hurry at about the 17. And the Aggies stiffen again. William Thomas with the tackle. And here comes Roman Anderson. He'll be attempting his 3rd field goal of the night. Anderson is now tied for 4th in Southwest Conference career field goals with Kendall Traynor of Arkansas. They have 51. So Anderson can break it. 34-yarder. It's up. It's gone. Roman Anderson has broken the field goal record in the Southwest Conference. 52 field goals for Anderson, and that is his 3rd field goal of the game to bring the Cougars within 1.
And the good thing here, Bill, is they got points on the board, and they ought to maintain their momentum. It's a good job getting the ball up in a hurry. He gets the ball up in the air quickly.
Tell you what, he's going to be a high draft pick next year because this young man has kicked them as far as 50 and 51 yards, and he is oh so accurate. And what a weapon to have in a close game. In fact, both of these field goal kickers, Lane Talbot is one of the best.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you what, that Cougar better have some muscle.
I remember one year at Rice, we almost killed that Cougar. He got to look like a weightlifter when he got through.
Well, the Cougars do push-ups. I like the Aggie side of it better. After every touchdown they score, they get to kiss their date.
Yeah, I think that's a great tradition. But
there were some years there when the lean years for the Aggies back in the 60s when they got a kiss for a 1st down. There weren't a lot of touchdowns to go around.
I know some places where that could be very appropriate.
You ever try that at Rice?
No, what we were just interested in is getting, never mind. That was just, this is nice. Never mind, Bill. We'll talk about something else.
It's going to get you in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, boy, take a deep breath. We've still got 12:33 left to play, and I think the fans are up to applaud these two teams right now.
Yeah, they both deserve it. This has been a heck of a football game, and anybody that missed it just missed a great show by 2 college football teams.
This game has had everything. 31-30, Texas A&M. 12:33 left to play. Roman Anderson will kick it off to Garrett and Patterson. Special teamers have gotten a lot of work today. Patterson at the 8. Patterson. What a tackle by John Brown. Now this is not John Brown III, who made the reception a minute ago, but John Brown, the freshman from Amarillo, a defensive player. .28 left to play. The Aggies lead by 1. Richardson to Garrett. Nice effective play and a good gain for about 7.
Yeah, he just rakes it up, and Garrett just kind of turns in. He throws him the football.
He reads that from the moment the ball is snapped, doesn't he?
Yeah. They read the corners of linemen, whether it's inside or outside, and how far off of him is. And a lot of run and shoot teams, Bill, will grab their face mask, receivers will, to indicate to the quarterback whatever route they want to run if they've got a particular shade by a corner or a defensive back.
This could be Robert Wilson territory. Garrett now on the night has 6 receptions for 108 yards. What a game he's having. Wilson has it. Tough yardage. Steve Mateko was the first one there, along with Trey Hooper. And I think this time he's going to be about a yard short. And it'll bring up 3rd down. It's been a game of big plays, both on offense and defense. But I'll say something, the Cougar defense has really stiffened. When it was 24-7 A&M early in the game, it looked like the Aggies were going to run away with it.
Right. They've got 3 tight ends in the football game now, Bill. Texas A&M does.
Wait a minute. Who jumped first? Did the Cougars or the Aggies? Mike Arthur may have pulled his old trick again. When he saw one of the Cougars come across, he snapped the ball. He's done that twice already.
I think that's going to be against the University of Houston, although they're jumping up and down.
It'll be against Houston. I'll tell you, that Mike Arthur is worth his scholarship.
Sure.
Offside.
That's just good, smart heads-up football play. There you go.
Yeah.
We had a center at Rice one year, Bill, that told me he could draw Michael Carter off every time by moving his hand when Carter was SMU.
Who would want him to?
Huh? Well, that's what I kept asking him. We got 20 yards in one drive one time. And we still didn't score.
Jason Youngblood jumped off sides, and Arthur very alertly snapped the ball. That's 3 times he has. So Arthur's good for 15 yards today. Richardson drops it. He's looking for Garrett on the long pattern. Interception, Houston, at the 47-yard line. Jamie Mouton. That's Perry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I called Mouton. I thought it was 3. It was an 8. I should have known better because that Perry's been all over the field. He's something else.
I tell you, Bill, again, you're throwing back into the middle of the field across your body, and that's just difficult to do. You're going to get in trouble more times than not when you try to throw the ball across your body like that.
Kenny Perry's given his grandmother quite a few birthday presents today. That's the story of this game, the turnovers, and right now they wear heavily in Houston's favor. But the Aggie defense stopped Houston on the last drive. 10:53 left to play. Richardson loves the...
We may have breakfast here in the morning.
Richardson's previous high for passing was 126. It came earlier this year against Louisiana Tech, so he has virtually smashed that record.
He's had a very good football game.
Kenny Perry with a big play to give the Cougars the football. Let's see now what Klingler can do with it. Across the middle. Intended for Marcus Grant at about the 10-yard line. That was excellent coverage by Kerry Vincent.
You know, Bill, Kevin Smith has not been back in the football game.
And I think Vincent's done a heck of a job subbing for him. I think he ought to be happy that Thomas wasn't inside his face mask, as he has been most of the game. There's the stats. Klingler with that blitz. 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Second down for Houston. Hazard at the 50. Hazard at the 42-yard line. First down, Houston.
Nice, easy throw and catch. That's relatively safe, and when you get it in that guy's hands.
And they cleared out that area, didn't they?
Yeah. And when you get it in Hazard's hands, he's going to make some yards. Not a difficult throw. They may have been the bubble route. I couldn't see how he lined up originally, but at any rate, as you say, they cleared the area out and dumped the ball to him underneath.
Good for 11 and a Houston first down inside Aggie territory. The ball at the 43-yard line. Manny Hazard, though the stats for Hazard. Comes the Aggie blitz. Incomplete. Tracy Good was open on much a similar pattern as to the one thrown to Hazard on the other side the previous play.
Bill, in order to get away from the Texas A&M blitz, Klingler is putting Witherspoon to one side and rolling that way. It's almost a full sprint, and then they're doing a much better job of picking up backside on the blitz now. Second down, Houston.
Klingler looking across the middle. He'll go to the outside. Tracy Good steps out of bounds at the A&M 38-yard line. So gain of about 5 on the play. Another crucial third down now coming up for Houston.
They're going to huddle, Bill. Look at here.
Why? Why do you huddle here?
I don't know.
Maybe they're having trouble at the Aggie end of the field hearing the offensive signals.
The other thing may be they just don't want any confusion.
Hand off Weatherspoon. Shakes off one. Look at him battle inside the 35, maybe the 34. And it's going to bring up 4th down for Houston. Now this is going to be out of Roman Anderson's range. Anthony Williams, Larry Horton on the tackle for the Aggies.
It'll be a 52-yarder.
Well, the Cougars will go for it. 4th down, they need 2. 10 minutes left to play, so it's a little too early to say this is the play of the game, but it's a big one.
Certainly is. I wouldn't be surprised to see him sneak it again, although they're up there pretty tight.
Weatherspoon in motion and a timeout called by Klingler with 1 second left on the play clock. And that's the 3rd timeout for Houston. No more left for the Cougars. We'll take a break with the Cougars. The Cougars do not have any remaining. But when you throw the ball on every down, there are a lot of other ways to stop the clock.
Yeah. And as I said, in the first half, you're in a 2-minute offense all the time. I mean, that's basically what you are when you're in the run and shoot. I think it's advisable to hold those timeouts as long as you possibly can. Conserve them.
4th down conversions, the Cougars have been perfect. Fumble on the snap, and the Aggies have the football. Klingler was not ready for the snap from center. Anthony Williams comes up with a big play for A&M. Well, Greg Jones has had trouble several times in this game either hearing Klingler. Let's watch again. Now, Klingler's not ready.
Well, in the center's defense right there, Bill, anytime that quarterback's got his hands under there, he better be ready to take a snap. You never know when one of those sweat hogs is going to pop that ball up there.
Especially when it's on first count.
Yeah, and in this kind of crowd noise and everything, he's got to be ready all the time.
So a costly turnover this time for Houston. Wilson breaks through. Wilson at the 50. Wilson at the 45. And the bull rumbles down to the Houston 43-yard line.
I don't blame him, but Jerry Parks tried to cut him, and he stepped right over him. Great job of carrying the football.
Watch Arthur again. Look at that block as he pushes Hooper right out of the picture.
And watch Parks try to dive and cut his feet. That's
well, listen, it's not going to work. It's no fun for a defensive back to tackle Wilson and Weatherspoon.
I don't think it's fun for a lineman to tackle, but sure not for a guy Parks' size.
28 yards on that run by Robert Wilson. Lewis, nice play made by Glenn Cadrez. 6'3", 235-pound junior out of El Centro Junior College. Boy, Larry Coyer has seen his young defense grow up today.
They have really matured, and they've played really well.
I know that's hard to believe if you're joining us now, and the score is 31-30 A&M. But 24 of the 31 points came in the first half. Wilson again. Barnett wraps him up. Give an assist to Jason Youngblood.
That was a good play by Barnett, coming flat down the line of scrimmage. They didn't block him. They had no one for him, no one to block him, but he came flat down the line of scrimmage and didn't get upfield, open a seam for him.
This is a key drive for the Aggies, leading by 1. And I know A&M would like to take as much of this clock off as possible on a long bruising drive. 3rd down. The Aggies need 7. Richardson overthrows Patterson. And A&M will have to punt.
Houston may have been lucky that Parks didn't get a penalty there. The ball was thrown awful high.
Sean Wilson will be back on about his 46-yard line. There's Jerry Parks. Now Wilson may try to angle this out. He can kick the ball easily 60 yards in the air. We've seen him do it a couple of times this season. Oh, what a punt by Wilson. He's aiming for the coffin corner, and it just gets into the end zone.
He really kicked that ball nice and smooth. It was great.
So the Cougars deny the... The Cougar fans want that offense to get into high gear. The Aggies want that defense to rise up. Klingler's got time. He's going long. Klingler, long pass. Marcus Grant overthrows him. Again, a great job. Boy, that will indicate what kind of war this has been.
Just thinking the old days, some of those guys, those were leather helmets, but
I don't know how they took it. No face masks. They used not to play with face masks.
I know a lot of guys that show that, too. That was 55 yards that Klingler threw that ball in the air.
Kerry Vincent was covering the man. Marcus Grant, step for step. Klingler got some time. Overthrows Tracy Good at the 42-yard line.
A&M went with a 4-man rush that time, covering with 7.
The Aggies are starting to back off now. Not quite as much blitz. I bet they come this time, however. It'll be 3rd down. Klingler needs 10.
It's not the ideal call, but if you broke a trap on them right now, you might hit a big hit.
3rd down conversions have not been very good for Houston. Look out for Hazard on this play. He doesn't have much time. It's down to 1 second. He doesn't get it off in time. Delay of the game, Houston.
I believe it was going to be the screen again.
And he's out of timeouts.
Delay of game.
So now it's 3rd down. The Cougars will need 15 yards. The Cougars have not converted on 10 straight 3rd down situations.
It's hard to believe in this offense, Bill. That's hard to believe.
Klingler changes the play. The play clock down to 3. Fumbles the snap. Again, too much time by Klingler and his center Greg Jones. They can't get together, and the Cougars will have to punt. And remember, Langston does not punt the ball very far. So the Aggies should have super field position. He's so consumed, I think Jones consumed with blocking big old John Miller.
Yeah, and I also think they're trying to get everybody set up properly, and they were having a hard time with that. If he kicks a line drive here, they'll have a good return.
It is a line drive, and he may get a break. It bounces for him. Garrett picks it up. Trying to get outside, and he's hog-tied at about the 47-yard line. Boy, that was a great kick. 50 yards, a pressure kick when the Cougars needed it by Charles Langston. 6:40 lead by 1, and they're going to call on the ground troops. I'll tell you, Ray Auburn, it's been a good old knockdown country brawl today in the Astrodome.
It's been a great football game from everybody's aspect. Irregardless of who wins, it's been a great college football game. Bill, the thing that may hurt Houston right here is a lack of timeouts or having all their timeouts haven't been used up. They've got no way to stop the clock if A&M does lay their ears back and sustain some kind of a drive with a ground game.
We talked about the offense able to stop the clock with incomplete passes, but that defense is helpless. You're right. And now R.C. Slocum wants to see the Tank and the Bull take that ball down the field. Darren Lewis already over 100 yards rushing. Robert Wilson has had some big runs. The Aggies have broken runs of 47, 26, 28, 25, 17, and 22. Wilson gets to about the 50. And as Ray pointed out, the Cougars can not stop the clock defensively. Trey Hooper with the tackle. Watch this big A&M front line.
It's an excellent job by Pappas there coming off the football. Really a good block. They went with 2 tight ends in the first series, both Ransom and Ware, and now they've got Oliver back in the ball game with Garrett with 2 wides.
Aggies need 8. Lewis may have it. Lewis to the 40-yard line. First down, Texas A&M. Reggie Burnett wraps him up, but watch the big guys. Jason Rockhold, Pappas, Arthur, Alex, McCall.
That's a good job by Matt McCall. He worked himself all the way around on that block.
Lewis now has 124 yards rushing and 21 carries. Wilson has 107 yards rushing and 14 carries. First and 10 A&M. Here's Wilson. Burnett wraps him up, but he gains 3. And more importantly now, the clock is becoming an Aggie ally.
Bill, he's not using all the 25-second clock, but he's using enough of it on every series, marking the ball ready to play, and using enough of it that it's grinding down along with making those first downs.
Second down, A&M. Richardson's going to throw. Well, that's one way the Cougars can stop the clock. Let the Aggies do it for them.
Yeah. I think he read blitz and checked. He just made a bad throw. And Houston's in a position now where they've got to come up and get aggressive and try to get the football. So they lose by 1 or by 8. It doesn't make any difference at this point. They've got to have the football.
Ray, I got to give it to one of those big backs myself at this stage of the game, because now the clock is stopped at 5:19. The Aggies still need 6 yards. This may be the play of the game.
Going to sprint to the top of the screen.
Cougars coming. Burnett going long. Richardson's going to be short. Perry with the interception. The 3rd interception of the game. Kenny Perry.
Grandmother, you ought to be proud of that. Boy, that is a great football game.
The 3rd interception for the Cougars. The 2nd for Kenny Perry.
Bill, again, he had the guy open. He just couldn't get the football over there. And it's a great job of Perry running with him.
Youngster out of Arlington. He had great position on Garrett. And he wrapped it up. That's the important thing, because Garrett turned into defensive back, tried to strip him of the ball. Kenny Perry getting congratulations, but now the Cougars have to try to go 96 yards.
A field goal will put them ahead. But as I said earlier, this is not, you're in a 2-minute offense all the time, so this is not a real problem for them.
5:12 left to play in the end zone. Flags everywhere. It just looks to me like the Cougars are having problems getting the play started.
Yeah, I don't understand what the problem is. He came in off the sideline with a play, and he shouldn't have any confusion.
False start.
Boy, there have been a bunch of those false starts by Houston. Watch the bottom of your screen here. Well,
just
there it is. Turnovers so far.
I tell you, 8 turnovers shows you what kind of hard-hitting football game it's been.
Weatherspoon busts out across the 10 to about the 11-yard line. And that gives Klingler a little operating room, but he's going to be about 3 short of the first down. Quentin Coriat made the tackle. All right, now
it's a good call, Bill. Make a bunch of yards, give it in Witherspoon's hand. I don't like much chances every time that young man's got the football.
Verlin Brown has just checked in, number 4, along with Tracy Good. Second down. Manny Hazard steps out of bounds to stop the clock after a first down by Houston. But wait a minute.
Another
There's a flag all the way across the field at the 10-yard line. Early indications by the Aggies it's against Houston. It's a dead ball foul, so it'll still be second down for Houston. I think Lloyd Dale and his crew, they've done a good job. This has been one heck of a game to try to officiate.
I imagine some of those guys are going to be in the whirlpool tomorrow, too. I know I would have to be if I'd done all that running around.
The ball is on the 6. Houston has to get to the 15 for a first. Second down. Weatherspoon bounces off a couple. Weatherspoon at the 20. Weatherspoon at the 25. Weatherspoon at the 30. And he carries about 3 Aggies to the 37-yard line. Oh, my goodness gracious. William Thomas and Larry Horton had to bulldog him down. A 30-yard run by Chuck Weatherspoon, bad ankle and all.
That's just a trap. He cuts it back behind the guard. It's a great block. A great trap block by Charles Bowman, and then a good job of running. Watch him try to push him away. Oh, he hits old Horton in the nose.
Weatherspoon now with 124 yards. That's a season high on 20 carries and 1 touchdown. Klingler lays it up, and Good couldn't run under it.
That was a misread, I believe, Bill. He laid the ball up before Good even got his head around.
Harry Vincent was also right there with Tracy Good. And that'll bring up second down. There just isn't a lot of room to breathe. 3:54 left to play in the game. The Aggies lead it by 1, 31-30. Weatherspoon, what a warrior. Playing on a bad ankle and a bad leg. Wilson, Lewis, and Weatherspoon have carried the mail today. Second down, Houston. Here come the Aggies. Blitz. Thomas. Klingler. Knocked away by Kerry Vincent. And boy, what a job he has done along with Derek Frazier.
That was a great break on the football by Kerry Vincent. Great break.
Well, they worried a little bit when Kevin Smith went out, but Vincent has picked up the slack.
No doubt about it. This is a really nice break. Watch him explode through on the football. That is super.
Boy, that's as good as you can do.
Exactly right.
Now the Cougars will huddle up. Third down. Houston needs 10. U of H is 2 of 15 on third down play.
They're coming after him this time, Bill.
Klingler. He's got his man Marcus Grant at the 50-yard line. First down, Houston. What a huge play. Klingler had single coverage, and Vincent may have saved the touchdown.
Yeah, and that's a great job of both the receiver and Klingler. I don't believe that was a route call. I believe they both read blitz. When he delivers a football on the line, and good job. Get a pass the first down. That's a good execution.
Marcus Grant was an all-stater at Dallas Carter. He's a sophomore. He has 24 catches now on the season, averages about 16 yards a catch. But that may have been his biggest up to now.
Bill, they've got 3 receivers at the bottom of the screen. I would look for him and Weatherspoon offset. Probably Klingler coming down to the bottom of the screen to get away from the blitz.
Berlin Brown dodges one. Brown at the 40, at the 35, out of bounds at the A&M 31-yard line. Berlin Brown with a 20-yard reception. What a nifty move he put on Frazier.
That's just, that's a 4-yard pass that's turned into a 10-yard gain with athletic ability, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that.
Brown was the leading receiver for Houston going into the second game last season when he broke his ankle against Arizona State.
Here's what I'm talking about, run and shoot. You don't want to score too quick with 3:36 left.
This crowd still has some energy left. I don't know where they're getting it. Weatherspoon on the handoff, pops outside. Weatherspoon Witherspoon. What a collision at the 25-yard line. Marlon Haynes. Boy, does he deals the punishment, doesn't he?
This is a trap. The right guard pulls and traps. He takes it on outside, and I tell you, look at this stiff arm right there. Golly Moses.
Have you ever seen young college?
What's he?
Well, look at that stiff arm. Ouch. That would make Earl Campbell proud.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, Earl would be proud of him for that one.
131 yards, Witherspoon. Second down. The Cougars need 3 for a first. Witherspoon again. This time he's wrapped up just about the line of scrimmage by Marcus Buckley. Now there's your weapon. Anderson is 3 for 3. He just became the Southwest Conference career field goal leader on his last field goal. And he is standing in the wings as the clock ticks down. Cody Smith checks into the game for Houston, brings in a play from the bench. 2:59 and counting. Quarterback sneak. First down, Houston inside the A&M 20.
See?
Good block by his center, Greg Jones.
No one knows but he and the center when they're going to do it, and catches everybody else. Looks kind of funny. They're standing there.
You just go off your block of your center, don't you?
Right, exactly. You just kind of tap him, and then that says, hey, we're ready to go, and they get it.
Klingler now 23 of 50 for 330 yards. Look at the first downs tonight. 2:28 left to play. Handoff Witherspoon. Oh, boy. He ran right into Otis Neely, a sophomore out of Lamarck.
The right guard, Gisler, did not hear the check. He backed up, and when he did, he backs right into Witherspoon. See number 67?
Yeah, Gisler backed right up.
And I saw him turn to Klingler and indicate that he couldn't hear. And, you know, that's just one of those things. As you mentioned, you're down at the end of the stadium where the Aggies are, but that'll cost them, hurt them.
Well, the Aggies call a timeout. They are exhausted. They have been going backwards on this drive. The Cougars get a chance to rest with the Aggies calling a timeout. Now you see the timeouts remaining with 2:12 left to play. And for a change, some of these fans get to sit down. I'm telling you, there haven't been too many fannies in the seats.
No, and they're not going to be down for very long either, just as soon as this timeout's over. I tell you, Bill, you say, why would you call timeout and let Houston regroup? But sometimes it's good to stop their momentum with a timeout and give your guys a little bit of a blow. You look at all those defensive backs have been running up and down that doggone field all afternoon, so I don't think that was a bad timeout at all by the Aggies.
Remaining games for A&M now. Baylor with a big game we'll have for you on HSE next week. Then it's Rice, SMU at Arkansas. So the Aggies feel like this is the game they have to get back to the Cotton Bowl, because with Arkansas having a down year, they should be favored to win all of those games going into the big Texas game on December the 1st.
And that should be a real barn burner if everything holds up.
Now, what the Cougars don't want is a turnover here. With 2:12 left, they are in Roman Anderson's range. Second down, the Cougars have to get to the A&M 9-yard line for a first. The clock is down to 4, down to 3. Again, popping outside is Witherspoon, and he's thrown for a loss at the 25-yard line. One of the few times Witherspoon went in reverse.
You're right here. You don't want to turn the football over. You got plenty of time. The only thing that I might be a little concerned with is that you don't have a timeout set the field goal up properly, but you work on that all week too, so every week.
Anderson is 85% from inside the 40-yard line, and that's what John Jenkins knows. Klingler throws it complete. Cooper at the 10. Cooper at the 5. Patrick Cooper almost scored. The Cougars now can run off some more time. What a pass by Klingler, 22 yards, and he threw it sidearm.
Yeah, he threw it sidearm under the blitz and completed it. I thought
Oh, my goodness.
He never saw it caught.
Now, a missed tackle by Marlon Haynes, and Cooper, who's a big receiver. Cooper is about 6'1", 185 pounds. A little bigger than those stats. That was at the start of the season. He's grown up. All right, now, 1:08, clock going down. Klingler to Weatherspoon, and he gets to about the 1, and the Cougars are content to let the clock run down. Now, if you're an A&M, what do?
Well, you use all your timeouts and you give them time to regroup, so you hope you can come up with a big play, although they just took one of their timeouts. I would look for an all-out blitz right here.
All right, now, Ray, the Aggies have one timeout remaining, but RC needs some time if he wants to try to score after Houston does, if Houston scores.
Right. Well,
I think you're going now to try to win it, huh?
Yeah, because they, you know, if you don't stop them right here, it doesn't make any difference whether you got timeouts or not. I'm trying to see. The Cougars would be 36 if they scored 36-37. They would probably kick the field goal. You know, they would probably go for 2 on the extra point to try to at least force A&M, if they scored, to kick make the extra point good to time.
Well, we'd like to thank Houston Media Relations Director Ted Nance, Sports Information Director Rick Poulter, and the entire athletic department here at the University of Houston for their help and support in preparing for today's telecast. And also a big thanks to...
I don't know who he was talking to.
44 seconds left to play. Klingler and Jones have to connect. Here come the Aggies. Hand off Weatherspoon. Boy, it looked like somebody was offsides, but there was no flag. Jason Black made the tackle for A&M.
Texas A&M was anticipating that and read it, and they brought 2 guys in the guard center gap, so he would not have had it. It'd been a loss.
Why don't you quarterback sneak here?
Well, they've got somebody over the center now. They brought those 2 linebackers in there in that gap. Here they come again.
22 seconds. Weatherspoon. Touchdown, Houston. It's been a long road back, but the Cougars have made it.
Now they're going to go for 2.
Oh, my goodness. I have been involved in a lot of football games down through the years. I have never been in one like this. What about you?
This has been unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, the only problem they're going to have, they better get the ball off or they're going to be penalized on the 2-point play.
Well, I think they're going to take the penalty.
That's just a hard dive.
Ray is great, as Lewis and Wilson have been for the Aggies. Weatherspoon has been the warrior for the Cougars.
And he's done it not by himself, certainly, but he's been the lone one back there, the Lone Ranger, and he's had a great football game. Not taking anything away from the other 2, Wilson and Lewis, because they both played extremely well.
Now, remember the rule in NCAA football, you can return an extra point.
Yeah, exactly, for 2 points.
Klingler, and it's knocked away, and the Aggies still have a chance with 20 seconds left to play. The Cougars lead it 36-31. Can you believe it? A&M had a 24-7
with all those,
but it's not over yet. Lest you celebrate too early. The Cougars went 95 yards on that drive.
And, you know, that's a great credit to their whole football team, because what they did defensively, as you said, and then the drive they just completed.
Last year, R.C. Slocum had disappointing losses in the final seconds to Texas Tech and also to Arkansas to prevent the Aggies from the Cotton Bowl. This would be a tough one to take if Houston can hold on, but there are still 20 seconds. And who's to say? Anything can happen the way this game has gone.
I would guess they probably will squib kick it to make as much clock run as they can.
Do the Aggies have a trick play in this situation?
Yeah, maybe a throwback.
Here we go. There's the squibber. Goes back to Patterson. Patterson is tackled at the 20-yard line. There's that man again, Tyler Muko, number 45. And he was joined in there by Kirk Russell. 15 seconds remain. The Aggies are 80 yards away from a win. Big rush by Houston. Richardson throws it to Wilson. He's run out of bounds at the 22 with 9 seconds left. Daniel Johnson, another freshman out of Amarillo, knocked him out of bounds.
You've got to be impressed, Bill, with the job Houston's defense has done in the second half. With that last drive of A&M before the half, they've really gotten the spark.
It's been two entirely different games. The Aggies own the first quarter. Since then, it's been all Houston. 9 seconds left. Richardson goes long. John Brown with the interception, and the game is over. In one of the greatest comebacks in Cougar history, the Houston Cougars remain undefeated. And R.C. Slocum watches the Aggies go down to their second defeat of the season, first in Southwest Conference play. And now TCU may have the inside track to the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, I just realized when you said that. Still a lot of football left, though, Bill. There's still a lot of football left.
Well, there's 1 second left in this game. This is a game that doesn't want to end.
Yeah. Well, it's been going for 3:39. We're going to make 3:40.
There's Tony Fitzpatrick.
I coached Tony at the Gamblers. He's something.
What a great job by the Houston and the A&M coaching staff. They have been absolutely fantastic. Klinger will kneel down, and the Cougars remain undefeated in one of the greatest football games ever played in Southwest Conference history. The Cougars come from behind to defeat the Aggies 36-31. Oh, what a football game.
I tell you, Bill, it's a shame anyone had to lose this football game.
Raycom Sports and Entertainment.
For Arkansas and Texas, the fight for supremacy in the Southwest Conference is as old as the league itself. And when it comes to college football rivalries, the Hogs against the Horns is one of the nation's biggest. From the legendary shootouts of the 60s to the last-second heroics of the 80s. These traditional powers have battled it out for championships and thrilled generations of loyal fans. Today, the war goes on. It's Arkansas and Texas on Raycom.
You make the call. Wow, who was he going to? And it looked like Stewart caught the ball, and then the linebackers thought the ball was going to the tight end. They both broke up on the tight end. Stewart caught the ball and slipped through and got down to the 1-foot line. Hawkeyes knocking on the door, first and goal. Kuyama, touchdown! And we are tied. With 69 seconds remaining. And remember back to the fake, attempt for two, the fake kick where they snapped the ball sideways and they didn't get it into the end zone. You have to wonder if that was something called at the line or if that was a coaching decision. Skillet. And the Iowa Hawkeyes have taken the lead. Colton Fry trying to usher his special teams together. Gary Moeller, the wheels are turning on that side as well. Now here's a big key, Wayne. Elvis Gerbach has been very successful throwing the football today, but the majority of the success that he's had today and throughout his career has been on play action. Wherever Michigan gets the ball, they should have a long way to go, and play action with only a minute left is not effective at all because the linebackers know you're not going to run it. You've got to throw the football.
Another look at the touchdown. Paul Kuyava.
When you get down this close, it's whoever wants it the most. And on this particular play, Iowa and Kuyava, they wanted it the most.
Kuyava, former walk-in, filling in for Lou Montgomery. There's J.D. Carlson on the sidelines. It may yet come down to a Carlson kick. 2 timeouts left for Michigan now. 69 seconds for Gary Moeller and company with which to work.
Well, Wayne, so far this year, Michigan has played in 2 close ball games, 2 football games that they probably should have won. Both of them they lost. When you lose games like that more than once in a season, you start thinking more than you react, and you get that seed planted in the back of your mind. Well, maybe we just weren't meant to win these games.
Lost to Notre Dame 28-24 in the final minutes. Lost to Michigan State last week 28-27. Desmond Howard back deep. Paula Magic. Squib kick. Alexander near the 7. To the 20. Alexander brought down short of the 30-yard line. Matt Hilliard, a backup linebacker, made the stop. And a key point to remember is earlier in the 3rd quarter, Elvis Gerbach had to burn a timeout because he was going to get a delay of game penalty on a very unimportant drive. That could come back to haunt Michigan. Time left in the lower right corner of your screen. Timeout situation. Michigan has 2 remaining. Jefferson and Bunch are the backfield behind Gerbach. Hit by Santos, and down he goes. Rod Davis and Moses Santos collaborate on the sack, and it happened with lightning quickness. Back inside the 25-yard line. 57 seconds remaining. Michigan takes a timeout. 1 timeout remaining for the Wolverines. Michigan hasn't lost 2 consecutive home games since 1967 when they lost to Navy, Michigan State, and Indiana. Last time they lost 2 Big Ten games in a row, 1979, Purdue and Ohio State. Gary Moeller wants his offensive unit over to the sidelines. You're right, Ben, on that play. I mean, obviously he didn't even try play action, but play action is not going to be effective in the final minute of a game like this when the other side knows you absolutely have to pass.
And there was a severe breakdown in the blocking scheme for Michigan. Watch the bottom of your screen. 99 comes in almost untouched. He gets touched, just bumped at the end by Tom Doring, but it looked like Doring expected somebody else to come out and pick him up.
57 seconds remaining. The Michigan sideline. I'll tell you what, that loss to Michigan State, it's not just a loss, it's the way they lost it. It's the people they lost to. And that has exacted quite a toll from this Michigan team.
And to lose a game like that can take all the wind out of your sails. And the question that we asked at the top of the telecast, how much will it affect this Michigan team today? If they lose today, I think you have to ask, how much will it affect them the rest of the season?
On the other side, the Hawkeyes will be seeing roses if they get out of here with a victory. Gerbach back to throw. Good protection this time. Intercepted by John Derby. John Derby's going to put this one away. Look at the Iowa sideline. Pandemonium.
Watch Elvis Garback's eyes. He never looks away from his receiver. He looks, and he throws. Derby just reads his eyes and makes the grab. And I can tell you, he's as excited about that interception as he is. His father, Glenn, right now is probably ecstatic. Derby just reads Garback, grabs the ball, and watch him at the very end of the run. Both hands on the football. I don't want to give this thing back.
And Rogers drops to one knee. Michigan has one timeout remaining and 42 seconds left to go. John Derby, you mentioned his father played football at Duke. His brother played at Wisconsin. We've got a break of the action. Michigan stops the clock. 34 seconds to go. The Wolverines are out of timeouts. Out of luck. They tried a two-point conversion off a fake field goal. It failed. And that's the difference in the ball game right now. And John Vaughn, his absence in this fourth period of play. Question that'll have to be answered after this telecast.
Man who's doubly disappointed.
Iowa will just sit on it again. Michigan cannot stop the clock. Final seconds are ticking away. End of the first half. The fake field goal.
This is in the third quarter. This is after the blocked punt for a touchdown. The question is, was this a call from the sidelines, or was this something that the players did because they thought they saw something? That play right there loomed very large in the race for the Roses.
Time winding down in this one. Hayden Fry and Iowa spoiled homecoming in Ann Arbor for the first time in 23 years. The Iowa Hawkeyes go to 3-0 in conference play. Michigan falls to 3-3 overall, 1-2 in the conference, and Gary Mulder and company had some big problems to deal with from here on in. Iowa wins it over Michigan on homecoming. So long, everybody.
Lee Corso, who had a nice
beat the team I saw at Tennessee. Never.
And the bottom line, Auburn gets a great favor from Alabama. Crimson Tide have lost 2 SEC games, and now as we prepare for Florida State and Auburn, though it's a non-conference game, boy, does this help the War Eagles out as they prepare for an SEC Sugar Bowl berth.
And don't forget, Alabama plays Auburn the last game of the year.
Yeah, and now let's talk about Miami and Notre Dame. This is, of course, a game that usually determines who wins a national championship. Here's how it went down in South Bend this afternoon. As exciting as you might have expected today. No altercation to start the game. Everyone pretty cool. First play from scrimmage, Notre Dame's Rodney Culver fumbles, but remember Culver later. Eric Miller recovers. That sets up a Miami TD at 7-0. Now, it's time for the Rocket. Why do you kick it to Ismail? He goes again. 94 yards for the touchdown. He was a factor all day long. Lou Holtz used him properly. That meant giving him the ball a good deal more. That tied it at 10. Miami goes up 17-16, but in the third quarter, take a look at what happens to Steve McGuire. He fumbles. George Williams recovers on the Miami 25. That sets up a Notre Dame field goal. Notre Dame up 22-17 after the third, but Miami feels the fourth quarter belongs to them. 22-20, Notre Dame. Miami driving. Erickson scrambles and throws, but his receiver will fall, and Todd Light will pick it up. He comes up with the interception, and then after a 45-yard Ismail run, Meyer on the delay will dump it to Culver, who rambles 21 yards. Watch that block by Tony Brooks at the 8-yard line to spring him into the end zone, and Notre Dame comes away with the victory 29-20. So we will have a new national champion. This will knock number 2 Miami right out of it. That's their second loss of the season. And Lee, I know that you really watched this game closely, and that last call by Holtz with Meyer on that dump pattern is one that you want to look closer at.
Oh, and it was a great call because it caught Miami in a blitz. It's like, take a look at it. You'll notice all the Miami men coming from the outside. And what happens is Notre Dame will send a tight end across there to middle linebacker Cousins. 31 has 50 man for man. Culver moves into this area. 31 comes in there. Meyer drops back and delivers a pass right in here. And this is the block that that Tim said. Now watch this play in action. Watch number 31 atop of your screen. He's got number 5 man for man. But watch the block right here. That's Brooks's block. Touchdown Notre Dame, and they win it. No one would believe that Notre Dame could do that, but that was a great win for Lou.
They're right back in the middle of the fray again, but again, that schedule is so very difficult for them. This really hurts Miami because you knew their schedule would ease up the rest of the way.
But it gives Notre Dame more confidence. They go to Tennessee. Tennessee's now human, and they got that big USC game in the last game of the year before the national title.
All right, Iowa taking on Michigan this afternoon, the first of our 3 that you were to see on ESPN. The Wolverines trying to rebound from that unfortunate loss they had last week to Michigan State. Late in the second, it's 14-7. Look at the time running out. Iowa coach Hayden Fry not pleased with his quarterback, Matt Rogers, and that's a clinic he's putting on going to the half. Michigan fans have not forgotten about last week, but it would be the Iowa fans upset with the Zebras today. In the third quarter, 14-7, Rogers to fullback Paul Kayawa for an apparent touchdown, but an illegal forward pass nullifies the score. No touchdown. Iowa settled for a field goal, 14-10. Then in the third, 14-10 Michigan. Michigan special teams team up for a big play. Dwayne Ware with a touch. 2-point conversion fails. It's 20-10. Late in the fourth, 23-17. Kayawa with a 1-yard TD run. Extra point good. Oh, is Hayden happy? That's not Hayden Fox of Minnesota State, folks. That's the real Hayden Fry. And they come up with a victory, 24-3. Iowa gets the victory. First win at Michigan since 1981. Michigan loses first consecutive home games for the first time since 1967. Now, Indiana and Minnesota, well, you figure, well, Bill Mallory's Hoosiers looking good, right? Wrong. John Gutekunst and the Minnesota Golden Gophers are 3-0. Are you kidding me? In the Big Ten? Now, granted, they have some important games coming up, but that's news. Michigan State and Illinois, the Fighting Illini, trying to fight through the Spartans this afternoon, looking ahead to a matchup with Iowa that could mean the Big Ten championship. A defensive struggle, just ex Chuck Bulla, but Doug Higgins against the wind all day, nailing a 55-yarder. And remember, Mr. Higgins, 3-0 Illinois led early. Then in the third quarter, the Illini up 9-3. Enos to James Bradley. Oh, the prayer is answered here, folks. 43 yards, and after being stuffed 3 times inside the 5 on fourth, Enos with a bootleg. Oh, and that worked to perfection to make it 10-9. Then in the fourth quarter, after a Michigan State fumble, Higgins, 48 yards, his 5th of the day. Boy, was that a good 5th. 15-13, the Illini squeak it out in this ball game. An interesting game and a very big standing situation that we have to show you in the Big Ten League course. So this is amazing. Look at Iowa. They are 3-0. Minnesota right there with them. Then the Illini, Indiana, Ohio State, not totally out of it. We have to go to a second page of graphics. This may be a record in television, showing Michigan on a second page. They are now in 6th place in the Big Ten. I know we're early in the Big Ten standings, Lee. It truly is amazing what's going on. The bottom line is no one in the Rose Bowl will win a national championship, it appears.
And don't forget, the big game there is Iowa plays at Illinois November the 3rd. Now, that could be a big ball game because the team that wins that one might be able to go right into the Rose Bowl.
All right, now we're going to talk about the Big Ten and shift to the Big 8 for a moment and talk about what happened today between Iowa State and Oklahoma. The Sooners, of course, coming off that emotional loss. And today, Chris Peterson of the Cyclones intercepted by Jason Belser, who returns at 42 yards. It's 28-17 at the half. Boomer Schooner. Fourth quarter, though, 35 seconds left in the game. Chris Peterson. This is why you can't have instant replay, folks. I mean, the game's not televised. You can't tell if he's in or not. But Iowa State gets the touchdown, the extra point to make it 33-31. Last play of the game, Cale Gundy will maneuver and try for a Hail Mary. It will not be answered. Folks, it's been since 61 that Iowa State got a victory over Oklahoma. They get it today, 33-31, and this is an amazing story. Jim Walden's club getting it done. Chris Peterson and an injured Blaze Bryant earlier in the year. A big, big win for the Cyclones. Stay with us. We've got a lot more on the way, more scores on the way. We'll tell you about #1 Virginia, and we'll recap the situation in South Bend a bit more as we take you to break. More scores beginning with the ACC.
research has shown.
Look here.
The Big Chief, Osceola, waiting in the wings. All right, Virginia and Wake Forest playing earlier today. The #1 Cavaliers. Would they beat 2 Cavalier against the lowly Demon Deacons? Let's show you what happened. Second quarter, Virginia leading 9-0. Wake Forest, Phil Barnhill hits Darrell France. This is a 60-yard strike. Suddenly, it's just 9-7 Virginia. Still in the second. Wake now leading 14-12. And it's the Moores. Yeah, Sean Moore. For Herman Moore, 49 yards and a touchdown. They get a 2-point conversion as well, makes it 20-14. Then in the third quarter, they begin to cruise. Nicky Fisher takes off. This isn't Kirby. This is Nicky Fisher. Nicky Fisher turns into Nicky Six. And they become a motley crew, this Cavalier squad. They come away with the victory. The #1 Wahoos looking strong with a 49-14 victory. They have outscored their ACC opponents by a large margin throughout the course of this. Moore, the Heisman candidate, 19-31, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs. Now, the teams that are still streaking. Virginia, 13. Houston with 10. Nebraska and Wyoming with 9. Georgia Tech's streak comes to a halt. What does Virginia's path mean to the ACC and to the Citrus Bowl League?
That means Chuck Rowe and all my friends in the Citrus Bowl are going to go to Virginia and pray for Virginia to win that game, because if Virginia doesn't win it, the Citrus Bowl doesn't have a chance for the national championship game.
Georgia Tech will not be a #1 team, and I'm going to show you why now. Georgia Tech taking on North Carolina today, and the Tar Heels, congratulations to Mac Brown, trying to build from scratch there, taking over for Dick Crum. Best tie a coach could ever have in that league. 13-13 the final score in the ball game. Scott Sisson, a 27-yard field goal with 1:01 left to get the tie for North Carolina. Now, Oklahoma State and Nebraska, 31-3 the final score there. The Cowboys haven't won that game since '61. Mickey Joseph, another big day. 5 Cowboy turnovers, the key in that ball game. Houston and SMU, 44-17, and the numbers are incredible for Klingler. 5 touchdowns. He threw the ball an unbelievable number of times. 48 for 76, 5 touchdowns. So if Jack Pardee leaves, it doesn't seem to matter. Houston will continue to put the ball in the air regardless of the competition they're taking on. Washington and Stanford playing today in the Pac-10. I tell you, the Huskies are a team that gets better and better every week. Corso right on course with this call. Brunel to Orlando McKay. It's 24-0. Now it's in the third quarter. Matt Jones goes up the gut, breaks right, and then will lunge for 6. It's a touchdown. And then the purple haze takes over. Their defense, that's what they call it. Glenn Milburn fumbles. Eric Roscoe is there to run it in. Huskies with 9 sacks in the game. A sweaty afternoon for the Cardinal. Final score 52-16. Washington getting the win. And again, an incredible day for Greg Lewis, a running back that does not get as much national attention as, say, a Ricky Irvins at USC. He had 108 yards today. Colorado and Kansas. And again, the Buffaloes are a team that's been on a roller coaster ride, but suddenly the Jayhawks having difficulty against the Buffaloes. Eric Bieniemy takes the handoff, goes 31 yards, and it's beginning to look as if Bill McCartney's team is on course. Buffalo's doing it defensively. Alfred Williams pulls down the Kansas QB, Chip Hillary, for a 4-yard loss. Look for Williams to be a first-round draft pick. Kansas coach Glenn Mason looking for some answers, and he comes up empty. Second half, Colorado up 20-10. Bieniemy takes the pitch from Darian Hagan. The rest is just speed. Buffaloes roll to victory. The final score was 41-10. 18 carries, 174 yards on the day for Bieniemy, and Hagan had a big long pass to Mike Pritchard as well. Arizona and USC. This ball game is currently underway out in the Pac-10, and the story there, USC getting it done in the air and on the ground. Take a look at the work by Chip Lockwood. That's a touchdown to make it 7-0. USC is 15-1 lifetime against the Wildcats. And there's the story. It is 7-0 USC with the lead. And as we go to break, we are going to show you some more scores, and we are going to tell you that we have more on the situation in South Bend today as Miami took on Notre Dame. As we go to break, we begin with Kent, a victory over Ohio today. against Auburn. We welcome you back to the Residence Inn College Football Scoreboard. I am Tim Brando, and speaking of Bobby Bowden, he is one outstanding college football coach. We are about to go to another. Down at Notre Dame, of course, today, 29-20, they get the victory in a game that certainly puts Notre Dame back in the national championship picture, 29-20. We're going to go out now to Lou Holtz, the head coach of the Fighting Irish. Lou, so good to see you again, and I know you're in a good humor. Let's talk a little bit about today's victory, and certainly this brings your club back into the national championship hunt.
Well, I really don't look on it that way. You're kind to say that, but you know, we have Pitt, we have Navy, we have Tennessee on the road, Penn State, Southern Cal. We have too difficult a road, and all we can try to do is focus on each and every week.
All right, I want to talk to you about that last particular situation where Culver was found over the middle. You got a great block at about the 8-yard line from Brooks to spring him into the end zone. Outstanding call against the blitz. Did you anticipate that there?
Well, I stayed up most of the night watching film, and ironic as it is, we put that play in this morning because there seemed to be a tendency to blitz, and they came with 7, and we put in this morning, and when we called it, we thought if they blitz, it has a chance, and Rick and Rodney, of course, executed very well, and, you know, we've been very, very lucky in this year.
Lou, this is Lee Corso. Congratulations on a great win. You practiced your team on Sunday. You hit your defense on Monday and Tuesday. It must have worked.
Well, I think we're a little offended because you said we didn't have any speed. But Lee, Miami's an outstanding football team. And we felt that we're in midterm exams. We just finished them yesterday. That we had to be able to get some things done, and the earlier we can get it done, the better chance we had. So it wasn't a case where we practiced longer than we normally did. We just got a little earlier start.
Well, don't be so modest, Coach. You're a great big game coach. One of the reasons why a lot of people figured your secondary would have trouble would be because of what Columbus and McCaffrey really did to Reggie Brooks. I mean, you have to call names here because they really victimized him in that game. Certainly your guys were ready for the Carrolls and the Hills today, and that was the catalyst in the victory, it appeared.
Well, as I said at a press conference, you know, for the last 2 weeks, we made a lot of progress on defense, and I made a comment. I didn't think we were as far away on pass defense as what it would appear to the other people. I just felt that we would play very well on defense. I made that comment if we would take our practice habits onto the game, and of course, the longer it went, the more confidence we got, and we played very well together as a team. And of course, the ball bounced our way some, and after fumbling the opening play of the game, I didn't know exactly what would happen the rest of the day, but we're fortunate.
Lou, congratulations. Take care of yourself, and we look forward to watching you the rest of the way. Certainly, you are going to be an impact player in the national championship race.
Well, thank you. I want to say this, how much I enjoy ESPN Sports Center and your College Scoreboard show. I'm just sorry I can't be there to watch it.
All right. Thanks again. We'll be looking at you next week in the game against Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
All right, Lou Holtz, the head football coach of the Fighting Irish, with us live, 29-20 today. Notre Dame getting the victory. Now, Florida, the Gators, 59-0 over Akron. Why is Akron on Florida's schedule? I'll tell you why. Because Florida dropped Miami. Enter Akron. Arkansas State and Mississippi. Let's talk about that game as the Rebels get the victory, 42-13. Mississippi, 495 yards total offense. Randy Baldwin, another big day. Texas and Arkansas in the Southwest Conference, 49-17. The Hogs are still having problems. Wyoming and Weber State, the Lonesome Boys from Laramie, 21-12 over Weber State. Dwight Driver, 6-yard TD run, 105 yards rushing in the game. Clemson and North Carolina State, 24-17. Key turnover late in the game by NC State leads to the Clemson victory. Texas A&M tied by Baylor. Michael Moore scores late in the game to make it 20-20, and the Southwest Conference situation is as clouded as ever. And we'll be talking with Jim Wacker live tonight at halftime of our primetime game to talk about that. More scores as we go to break.
Florida State, it's nights like this that help him make that decision. 2 members of the nation's top 10. A game with national title hopes on the line. It's the 7th-ranked Seminoles against the 5th-ranked Tigers. It's a Saturday of survival for 2 teams with designs on a college football championship. Over the last 3 seasons, no team has come closer to a national title than Florida State. In 1990, Bobby Bowden's Seminoles are knocking on the door again. The Pat Dye decade at Auburn has been one of sheer excellence, but now the Tigers hope to finally claw their way to the top. Both teams have suffered a jolt on the road to #1. Now nothing less than perfection will do,
or the journey comes to an end.
That eluded both of these ball clubs was a national championship. Gary Danielson joins me again on the telecast tonight. And Gary, by golly, what's going to happen is whoever loses this tonight is going to be saying, get them next year as far as the national title.
No doubt about it, Ron. You know, Florida State, though, a little younger, and I think they'll be a better football team next year than they are this year. But they were shocked into reality last week when they faced Miami. And really the feeling down at Florida State was they lost a little